All right, guys, what's up? 9 p.m., 9:03 p.m. 3 must be the lucky number tonight, but 9:03 p.m. running a couple minutes late, but that is the norm. It's no longer late, I guess. Back on a live stream. I don't think I live streamed last week, but I've been on all kinds of other live streams, so that's been fun. I'm going to have some guests tonight, of course, so we're going to chat it up. You guys know the comments control what we talk about, so you guys come in hot and heavy with your comments. We'll talk about as much stuff as we can get to, and we're also going to chat with each other, the panelists tonight. So, of course, I have a couple of the usual suspects, and I have a couple fresh faces. Not fresh faces to me or to you guys. It's not like they're strangers, but they're first time on the channel, so it's going to be fun. Get a couple shout outs going. Business 124, always here early. I love it. Roman Sports Cards. Comments just came in so heavy. Good Lord. Carter, what's up? Michael Ham, the road dog. Maybe we can get you backstage sometime tonight. Doodad. Jordan Hudson, what is up? Ed Lang. Charles Fuchs. I'm not the boss man. You're the boss man. You're stacking those gems like crazy. And every time I put up what I think is a nice card on Instagram, you throw up something and make me want to go bury my head in the sand. Josh Albert, Adam Griffith, RAV Cards, Prodigy, what is up? And I know Prodigy is into some Marvel stuff and some precious metal gems recently. We'll definitely probably talk about some of that stuff tonight. Try to get some stuff from the Dallas Card Show, some vibes. My camera's blurry with me sitting this close to the screen, so I'm going to start bringing on some guests. First, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to add Neo. Doesn't need an introduction, so we're going to go ahead and add him first. Neo, what's up? We have Merle, and I've been wanting to have Merle on for a while because Merle interviewed me at the National, and we had a blast there at Filmington's party at the Lowe's Hotel with the crazy trade night and all that stuff. Give me my Pearl Jam cards, which was amazing. It was one of the highlights of my National, and he might tell you otherwise. He might say the other way around, but it's not true. It was an honor to be interviewed by him, and I've been trying to get on his show. I can't, so here's what we got to do. I got to get him on my show. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Merle. What's up?
What's up, guys? Good evening, everyone.
Right.
Steve, I knew you were going to say that.
And then we got...
You put the pressure on me.
We do have one person running late. The personal finance dad, Dustin. I like to call him the PFD, but we got the real FD in the house tonight. We don't have the PFD. We have rolling with FD. So we're going to roll with FD tonight in the live stream as well, guys. Let's go ahead. Bring on FD. What is up? How are you?
Hey, what's up? What's up? It's good to be here. Yep.
Oh, here we go. We got a surprise backstage. So today, this guest, familiar guest, I put out a little Instagram chat. I was like, "Hey guys, who wants to come on the panel tonight?" And he's like, "I don't know about tonight, guys. I gotta spend time with the family." And I'm thinking to myself, aren't we the family? So, here he is. We see he made the right choice. And we have Dakota. SDA in the house. Greatest football card mail day ever. If you don't believe me, go check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, the wife said she's divorcing me and the baby hates me. It's fine. I'm with my family, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
So Dakota and Neo, we weren't in Dallas. FD, were you in Dallas this time?
No, I was not in Dallas. I know Merle was there.
Merle was there, yes.
Oh, yes, I was.
Yes, and so I'm curious, and I'm sure Chad is curious, anybody who wasn't there, what were the Dallas vibes this time around? Was there anything different? Was there anything popular that hasn't been popular? Was there any surprises? And what was the overall crowd like? And what kind of feeling did you get being there and coming out of it? Because you were set up, so you definitely also got a dealer's perspective as well. So tell us a little bit about Dallas this time. If you want to save some tidbits for a video of yourself, you don't want to spoil everything.
No, it's okay. It's quite okay.
All right, man.
I hope you can see the glow on my face, even though I am exhausted. I didn't get home last night until 1 a.m. in Los Angeles from Dallas. But this was my first time. I was dragged there by the great curator. And he's like, Merle, you got to come and bring all your weird shit, dude, because that is going to pop, man. And let me tell you, he was 110% correct. And I felt that the great curator and I were the belle of the ball at this convention. It was packed. there was like thousands of tables. I mean, the only thing bigger than this is the National, unless there is something bigger I don't know about. But man, this is the biggest convention I've ever set up at, definitely. And Saturday, but Thursday is like the preview, almost like the National. It's like a 4-hour window, and then Friday is from like another 4 or 5 hour window, and it's like a late crowd because it's Friday, so it's like 2 to 7. I sold like 2 or 3 cards, and you have a lot. It's mostly dealers, and they come and they're pretty much window shopping on those days. And then Saturday, I get there about 9:30, start setting up, and at 10 o'clock, it went from 0 to 100 miles per hour. I didn't even get to shoot any content at all because I was going nonstop, and it was crazy. And I had 4 display cases, 1 table. The great curator had 2, and he shared that to his table with Brian of Sunday League Investor. So his was all soccer cards, and then great curator pretty much the same cards that I had. Especially he brought all his Marvel PMGs, his precious metal gems.
Yes.
And those were the biggest hit, let me tell you. Those were huge. He sold and he traded a lot of PMGs. And we had just so many people Saturday around both of our tables. And my Marvel cards, vintage and modern, were a huge hit. My also biggest hit was my Star Wars cards, especially my Boba Fett, vintage and modern. Also had a lot of the Star Wars Galaxy graded, which many people do not have. And those were hit, the parallel cards, of course, like the refractors, X-fractors that are numbered. Huge hit. I had a whole display case, all of Star Wars. And by Sunday, I just had 2 rows of Star Wars cards left. And I also had like overflow cards too, to restock. But that was all I had left. So the weird stuff popped, because if you walked around the convention, and Dan, the great curator, also said, when you walk around, it's kind of like when you go to Cheesecake Factory, you're hungry, and it's just too overwhelming of a menu. And sometimes you're just so overwhelmed by the menu, you lose your appetite. You ever had that, guys? You know what I mean? You're just like, oh, it's just too. I can't deal with it. And I don't know if you ever get.
I look like I've ever lost my appetite.
It's when you walk around, it's just like all sports cards. And I love John Moran. He's like probably was the biggest, sports, guy at the show, because he's getting very, very popular. So I would say he was the #1 sports player at the convention. But when you go around, all you see is Zion and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and it's just you see just thousands of sports cards everywhere. So the thing was, people would put on their brakes when they came to us because it was something different, and that method worked. And I couldn't have been happier. I sold my Betty White autograph card. I sold my you'll love this, Steve, my Randy Macho Man Savage autographed action pack card.
Oh, the action pack you sold. That card was nice.
Went to a great home. I sold a lot of Boba Fett's, like I said. I sold 3 of my John Cena rookies, the Fleer Royal Rumble. I sold all my Nintendo cards and my Donkey Kong cards. And I also, it's just like the quote from, I think that, make sure I get this right, from Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Is that the correct quote, guys?
Yeah,
if you build it, they will come.
so the Merle quote is, if you display it, they will come. And you put those cards that you're selling or whatever that you want. So if you put in your Star Wars, if you put in your Marvel, if you put in your unique oddball cards or, other sports cards, people are going to come to your table at this show with those cards. And I acquired like an Undertaker, Brock Lesnar Transcendent autograph cards. I got more Marvel PMGs. I got more Star Wars Galaxy parallels that I was looking for. I got more, like I said, more wrestling, more everything. And I have never had that many cards come to my table in Los Angeles like I did at Dallas. And Dallas blew any show. Sorry, guys, all my, LA promoters, but man, this show blew LA away.
All right, so it sounds like, when you get the popular players that are highly collectible, and unless you're specifically looking for an individual card, if you're going from table, if you're just going in there saying, I want to leave here with a nice Tom Brady, or I want to leave here with a nice John Morant, and you're going from table to table to table, it's probably hard to decide on which one you're going to end up leaving with, just because there's so many good options, like you said, so many good options that just makes for a tough decision to where you could lose interest. You just don't know which one to get. Such as the case with so many parallels and stuff coming out with a lot of this product. You don't know which one to get. So you definitely sound, I can tell by your emotion that it was definitely good. You definitely sound excited for what you sold and what you got.
It was great. And then also I met a lot of other, of my favorite YouTube content creators. I mean, I had Ken Fornos come to my table. I finally get to meet him for the first time, and Roth Cards. And I finally get to meet Justin, Spidey Jew. We went out and dinner with him on Saturday night, and we also I made a trade with him that he recorded. I got a few Moon Knight PMGs from him, and then he got a couple of my Spider-Man insert cards, which is like a Fresno card, and I had a Morbius red PMG that he got from me. So, I mean, it was a pleasure to meet and all these, YouTube guys. Definitely.
So let's go ahead and swing it into the sports a little bit now that we've got a pretty good feeling of
awesome.
How Dallas was. And we'll be checking out other content creators' videos and stuff as well. I'm sure there's going to be some. I'm sure there's some on the cusp. Yes. Anyway, football game tonight. Let's talk about the football games yesterday first. What is the game tonight looking like? I mean, I guess they've kicked off.
Right now, the Rams up 14-0.
Yeah.
Okay, I have the Rams in that game, but I missed on the other two. I picked the Eagles as an upset. I didn't actually pick them. I didn't actually pick them on like a ticket or anything, but I picked the Eagles in an upset and Dallas. Let's get some thoughts on. I don't think it was a surprise that Tampa Bay won, but let's get on with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Where do they go from here? Because it just feels like, I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I just feel like this is like the same old song and dance with the Dallas Cowboys, where they underachieve in the playoffs. They ran a QB draw to end the game. I don't know what the thought was on that play. It makes sense if you have a timeout, because then you get one nice shot at the end zone, but just seemed crazy. Let's start this off with FD, and we'll go to Dakota. What are your thoughts on that game and the Cowboys?
Yeah, I think the problem with the Dallas Cowboys is that Jones wants to run everything. So he really doesn't let people make decisions for themselves or McCarthy can only do so much. He can only make so many calls and do so much. Someone upstairs is also in his ear about what he needs to do. So that organization needs a complete overhaul, complete change. You can't really do anything with Dak Prescott. He has to come back. He's getting paid a lot of money, and no one else is going to pay him that kind of money. Ezekiel Elliott, a key stat, he hasn't had 100 yards rushing in 13 straight games. So you have people on the roster that may have had some talent at one point that don't have it anymore. Now, their defense is strong, but their offense has all kinds of problems. So I don't see Dallas hasn't done anything since 95, 96. When's the last time they won a Super Bowl? So I don't see them doing anything anytime soon. But it's a team that I think people like to talk about, but they're not a good team. Haven't been a good team since Dak Prescott has been there.
Maybe they're
wasn't a good team at the end of Tony Romo's career. They haven't been a good team in a long time. So I don't see anything really changing. I don't know how many strategic changes they can make. What they can try to do is bring in some more offensive threats, but Dak Prescott is still your quarterback. And then when it comes down to the draw play, if you know anything about football, you never run that play. When I'm sitting here watching the game and he began to run down the field in the middle of the field with no timeouts, I just what is he doing? I was sounding off in my own room. What is he doing? So I don't know. I don't know what they really do, but that team is not going anywhere fast.
Dakota, any takes on that game, Dallas or the Niners?
I'll take a little bit of a different take than FD. I actually think that Stephen Jones has done a good job of building that roster out. I do think there's some old contracts out there, from more the Jerry Jones days, the Zeke one. We saw it with Jalen Smith. They had let him go. I think Jerry's kind of relinquished some of that to Stephen, and look, to me, and they draft incredibly well. They draft superstar after superstar. I think they're doing a great job. But what I saw in that game was a well-coached team versus a poorly coached team. I think McCarthy's got to go. I read reports today that they're going to retain McCarthy, but I've also read reports that if someone does try to take Dan Quinn, their defensive coordinator, that they would fire McCarthy and keep Quinn because they like Quinn so much. And that defense is well coached. There's no question. And to FD's point, that was an offense. Offense blew the game at the end with that quarterback sneak. What are they, or draw? What are they doing? It was a horrible play call. I don't know. I don't understand how that's a designed play going into 15 seconds left in the game. I don't understand that at all. I've never been a fan of McCarthy. I think McCarthy probably held Rodgers back. I think McCarthy benefited from having Rodgers, and he gets a lot of credit where he shouldn't. And until they fire McCarthy, I think that you're just going to keep having disappointment.
Well, what is this, season 2 with McCarthy?
This is season 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2. Neo, anything you want to add to that? Or we can get into another game?
No, McCarthy sucks. I think Dakota pretty much nailed it.
I don't know.
How about, let's talk about the Bengals a little bit. Well, first of all,
Great.
I went to bed last night because I was tired, and Pittsburgh was winning 7-0. And neither offense looked like they were going to do much of anything. I woke up a little bit later and I was like, let me check the score. It was like 42-14. And I felt like I was actually dreaming. I was like, okay, wake up and check the real score. So I really don't know what happened in last night's game. I didn't see a single play after the TJ Watt touchdown. I saw that as I was kind of like going upstairs to my bedroom. It was going on the TV. And I was like, well, this looks like it's going to be a low scoring, sloppy game. And then something lit on fire. But
the Steelers really don't have an offense.
Oh, no.
No, not at all.
Like I said, both teams looked really sloppy when I was watching it from an offensive side of the ball. I guess the Chiefs just got it in gear and the Steelers didn't. The Bengals. What do you guys think the Bengals have a realistic chance of coming out of the AFC? Or not necessarily realistic, but what kind of percent would you put on them coming out of the AFC? Let's go with we'll go Neo, and then we'll work around here on this one.
I think they're still a year away. They have a chance, but I still think they need a little more tweaks to the roster. But with Burrow and Chase, I think you always have a chance.
Merle, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. And then with T. Higgins and everything, it's just like how well their defense can perform, and then if the ball goes their way. I mean, it's anyone's guess, but I mean they're one of the hottest teams right now, so it's anybody's guess. I mean, it's just who comes on the field and injuries and health and COVID.
Okay. So let's talk about it this way, FD. Is there a scenario, or what kind of scenario could you see playing out? What kind of scenario would have to play out?
The Tennessee Titans are they have the answer of who's coming out of the AFC.
Yes.
If Henry is back and running even at 75-80% of what he does, everybody in the AFC has a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, but if he cannot perform like he was performing, and then it falls on Tannehill, yeah, Cincinnati is a few teams that could come out of the AFC.
Yep.
But Tennessee is the most talented team when you look at the quarterback position and what he does on that field compared to the wide receivers. And then with that running game, that takes all the pressure off Tannehill. All he has to do is do a Trent Dilfer. He has to manage the game. But if it's on him to win the game for you, or to start throwing more to A.J. Brown and to Julio, then you have a problem.
Oh,
so I predict that Tennessee is going to end up coming out of the AFC.
Oh, yeah, I've had to put money on it, definitely.
Okay. So, Dakota, you can touch on the Bengals if you want, and then pick it right up from there with the Bills, because we have John here saying it's all Bills. You rag. Yes. John always gets on me about the Bills. And I don't know if he's trolling or just busting our balls or not.
So,
look at that.
I know, wow. Right?
But let's find John when we see who Josh Allen is.
Yes.
Can't wait.
I like the Bengals. They're really a very good team. The problem for the Bengals are they're the fourth best team in the AFC, and the other three better teams are still in the playoffs. So I don't like them to make it out of the playoffs, though I still really like that team, right? And I love Burrow. I have the receipts, right? It's one of the few modern players that I'm really have been buying. As far as the Bills go, I mean, they were my pick at the beginning of the season, to make it out of the AFC, and I guess I'm going to ride or die with them, so we'll keep rolling with them. But I do think they have. You may argue Tennessee has the most complete team left in the AFC, but I think, it's between them or the Bills. I really do like the Bills defense. They really have some playmakers over there. When you look at the offense, they have some playmakers too. But, advanced statistics say that the Bills have the most quarterback dependent team in the playoffs still, or maybe even in the league. And that's great when Josh Allen's on his A game, but bad weather game or maybe a bad interception puts him in a bad frame of mind and it could go sideways, right? That's kind of the issue with the Bills, but I do like that team. I think they're a well-coached team, and I think it's a good roster.
Yeah, I think with the Bills, if they're put in a situation where they have to run and defend the run, if they can get into a game and blow a team out like they did the other night, because they're not very strong against the run. We saw this in the New England game in Buffalo in the wind when Mac Jones had like 3 attempts or whatever, and they couldn't stop the run at all, and they couldn't run it themselves. So if they get into a game where they have to stop the run and run, whether it be weather or, Josh Allen having a bad game, that's where they're beatable. Josh Allen sometimes still gets kind of reckless. You can still tell he needs to mature a little bit. Like when he's running the ball, I feel like a lot of times he holds the ball loose. He does crazy things where he will like run and try to juke and he'll have the ball out over his head. He just does some young, reckless stuff. That in a big playoff game can be costly. Actually, I think 2 seasons ago, he fumbled one away like that in a playoff game. I have a friend that's a Bills fan. I remember watching that with him, and he was freaking out. But anyway, I do think they're a really talented team. Let's touch on the game coming up. Someone said, let's talk about this game. Bills, Chiefs, Allen, Mahomes. So that's what we're set for next week. Let's just go ahead and everybody pick our favorites coming out of this, Neo.
I'll go Chiefs, but the Bills could win. It just depends what Bills team shows up, but I'll roll with the Chiefs.
I definitely want Chiefs. That's my team. I love Mahomes, and they're playing hot right now. So if they're catching the ball, then watch out.
Yeah, I see the Chiefs winning this game, but it'll be a close game.
Vegas has the Chiefs minus 2.5 points. It's going to be close. It's going to be a fight. I'm going to bet on my boy Josh Allen. Say he steps up and let's go Bills.
Dakota, I respect it. I think you're rolling through with it. I like that.
Thank you.
Are you going to give away $1,000 if they win?
No.
Buffalo did win the regular season game and looked good doing it. I still think in the playoffs, you have to be able to run, whether it's your strength or not. You have to be able to do it to an extent, and you have to play really good defense. I think the pass rush belongs to the Chiefs still, and I don't see much of a ground game in Buffalo. Like you said, Josh, you're really betting on Josh Allen here. You're not betting on the Bills. You're really betting on Josh Allen in this game, and I don't know if he is enough to beat that Chiefs team, because we've seen the Chiefs win some sloppy games. A lot of times if the Bills are in a sloppy game, they don't win. So the Bills kind of remind me a lot of the Chiefs of the last couple of seasons. And the Chiefs actually remind me of a team that can win when their offense isn't playing well, which is new for them. So I've called the Chiefs from the beginning of the playoffs. I'm going to stick with it just because I'm not going to change now. But those Vegas odds aren't bad. I don't think it's going to be a blowout type game.
I think as soon as the Chiefs face a team that runs the ball successfully and has a defense where they have safety play, covering receivers, Chiefs are done. Chiefs cannot stop the run. Not at all.
And is Chris Jones healthy?
Chris Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, that I don't know.
Okay. He's had a lot of injury issues this season, so I need Chris Jones to be healthy.
So Albert said it's so quiet, everyone's watching the game. Do you guys got the game pulled up while we're?
No, I have.
It's a commercial break right now. It's a commercial break right now. McVay pulled out a red flag for some reason. I don't know what it was.
All right, so we've talked about some football. We've talked about the Dallas show. Let's talk about some cards.
All right.
We all base our channels around. That's what we want to talk about. So, Merle, you touched on earlier having something different is the way to kind of be successful in selling right now. I always talked about in the past. I love the oddball stuff, and I was always like, you can always, the sports and stuff are going to make their runs, but when everyone has the same thing to sell, you have to have something different. It's kind of like what's going on in the market right now. Even online, I've been able to move off some good SGC slabs that was oddball stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all weren't at the Dallas show, so we don't get the vibes out of that. But what are some items individually that we're all looking for? Neo, I know you're into some comic books. You can talk about that. What stuff are you looking for to buy right now? Merle, FD, Dakota. We know, Dakota, you're on the football, but you can elaborate on it some more. Actually, we'll start with you with your football. We saw your mail day. Is there anything new? Is there any player, any type of card that you're in particular targeting, or are you just kind of looking for deals?
So I have a couple things I'm working on, and I'm keeping it pretty low key. Only a couple people know about it because I need some help putting this together. But I'm doing a huge deep dive into football, as y'all know, but more specifically inserts. There's so many inserts in football they're completely slept on. I'll show you one. Everybody, y'all get one. I'm going to show this in Thursday's conversation as well. That's 2013 Select Hot Stars. That's the first year of Select right there. Those are PSA 10s, $125. I see my role in the hobby right now is pumping football. That's it. I'm not dumping. I'm not selling a single card. Not really. But there's just so many great cards out there in football that I feel like people just don't know about because people aren't looking, and they don't even know to look for that stuff. And so I'm doing a lot of work on the back end, on the background right now, trying to find out what's cool, what's low pack odds, that kind of stuff, what's rare. And then eventually, in the next month or two, publish that information.
Neo. So you're going to show us a comic book slab here?
Let's see it.
Oh, Darius Garland. Okay.
Oh, good one.
This up Saturday at my local.
Okay.
All right,
You
nice.
got
Yeah,
Trae Young, Dakota?
color match prism. Love it.
Yeah, this is the scope out of 88.
And that's
Oh,
a
it is.
discussion starter.
Oh, wow.
That's a
Yeah.
discussion starter all its own because Neo direct messaged me today. Garland greater than Young. And so I just responded with Vince Young because
I'm starting the trend.
talking about
Buying wise, Garland. Obviously, I'm always looking at comic books, and then I'm in a getting ready to send things for grading mode. I just sent 6 cards to SGC this week. That Garland's probably going to PSA this week. And then I have a stack of stuff that I just need to figure out what to do with. Mostly Marvel stuff. I have these McFarlane Prisms from 92
Ooh.
to send in. I think 2 of them are pretty good. The one, the back centering's terrible on. And then I have all of these, which I have more. I just haven't card savered them yet. That White Schwartz anime stuff that I want to grade. The hollow foils. And then I'm always looking at comic books. I'm still on the hunt for an X-Men 4. That's probably the number one thing on the hit list right now, but it's tough to find one at a reasonable price and a reasonable grade that won't break the bank. So, on the basketball side, bunch Darius Garland. Marvel side, looking at getting stuff off the grading. And then comic books, probably X-Men 4, along with any other, really just any Bronze or Silver Age keys that pop up. I have a weakness for all the big IG sellers when it comes to comic books. Just I see something and I'm like, oh, wait, I don't own that and I need it.
I know. They put so many nice books up there and you're like, oh, seems like a good price.
Yeah, between Instagrails and Elite Comics, it's just like, I'm never going to save up money to buy bigger stuff because they're going to nickel and dime me on this medium end stuff that I can't help myself.
So question for your plans with Darius Garland. Is this something you're looking to hold into next year? Do you think he's a future superstar and he's just going to become something you hold on to? Are you looking into the playoffs, or are you just kind of riding the wave and seeing where it would make sense to either sell and rebuy and things like that?
A little all the above. I just feel like his stuff's still undervalued. He's playing out of his mind. He had I don't know, I was all up in Dakota's DMs on Friday night or Saturday. He had 35 and 18 assists or something on Friday's game, and they beat the Nets today at home, and he had a monster game. He was Eastern Conference Player of the Week last week.
Nice.
And his stuff's his Silver Prism is only $300, $350.
Who do you compare his game to?
What's that, FD?
Who do you compare Garland's game to? Because I've watched him a few times. I don't know who to compare him to.
Yeah, good question. I want to know too.
I don't know that he has a great comp because he's not like a score first point guard. He's more.
No, he's not. Oh, we'll set up. He's not.
Yeah,
He
but
gets
he
his
can
offense in the
score.
system,
Like
the floor of the game.
he's almost like a way advanced Ricky Rubio, and Ricky. It's kind of a funny comp because Ricky Rubio was on the team, but like a better scorer than Rubio ever was.
Is that like
he's
Chris
been
Paul
really
then?
developing like an attack the basket game, and he's had really good chemistry with Jared Allen on these little pick and roll floaters and rolls to the rim and stuff. He has a really sick floater, and his 3-point game's really stepped up this year, which has been the biggest improvement. Not good enough for Dakota, but
Now Garland's a good shooter. Look, Garland's. I did the research. He's shooting 37.5 or something like that from behind the arc. He's a fair enough 3-point shooter.
So when you just look at the numbers that he's putting up, how well the Cavs are playing, and what his prices are at relative to the other players around him, and he just seems cheap to me. And I have the advantage that I live in Northeast Ohio, so he's an easy flip potential if I want to move off of it. Like I always have a market for that stuff. Everyone's always looking for him. So a little bit of everything that you just asked there, Steve. I could see multiple paths. I actually already have some stuff I'd be willing to move off of. Like I started with a Blue Velocity PSA 10. I'd probably move that now because I have this scope, and I actually have another Garland on the way to me that should be here tomorrow. And then I picked up that Mosaic. I've been mostly looking at numbered stuff and like lower pop stuff. Just with his price being depressed, I figured I'd go after that stuff instead of.
Is there anything of his that you will hold long term?
The one that's coming tomorrow, which I've talked about it before, so I'll spoil it. I bought a True Red Prism PSA 10 out of $299. So that I would hold on to just because it's the True Red. Like this choice is out of 88, and the Mosaic that I have floating around here somewhere is out of 85 or 88 as well. It's a really nice looking card.
It's a nice card.
But I'd be more willing to move these than the True Red just because the True Red is the True Red, and I think it has a little extra zing to it based off that fact.
Yep.
So if I was going to hold one, that would be the one. But I have some lower end stuff that's already gone up a little bit that I could potentially move off of if I wanted to.
And I only ask you these questions because Garland, a lot of people like Garland, and he's playing well. And I've always wanted to ask someone who's collecting him what they thought of his game and on a long-term basis, and who does he compare to. And even when I watched him, I couldn't think of anyone that played the way he plays.
Yeah, he's not like, I don't even think he's averaging 20 points a game, but he has
just under. I think
scored more lately with Rubio. Since Rubio's out for the season, he's needed to score a little bit more. But he's really just setting up Evan Mobley and Jared Allen so well right now. And that team, I don't think the entire Cavs team, I don't think there's a single player that's averaging over 20 points per game. They're playing very much team offense and team defense right now.
Can I just talk about the Cavs real fast? Because my knock on the Cavs when we talk about them is all about me thinking about will they win in the playoffs or not, right? I'm not down on Garland or the Cavs in general. Just it's a young team. Young teams don't win in the NBA playoffs. That's the only thing I really have said about the Cavs. I know sometimes my takes get misconstrued. Fake news.
What? Takes on YouTube never get spun the wrong way. You have a vested interest in the Cavs now, though, don't you?
I do, yeah. So if the Cavs win 2 playoff series, I'm going to do $1,000 giveaway with some cards. I'll try to do like $100 cards a piece. I don't know if I have enough cards to do that. I'll figure something out, but we'll do something.
Drunk Dakota got a little too.
Yeah, right.
I got riled.
Perfect segue comment over to Merle. PK,
Okay.
Merle in the house. Now, you've already talked about Dallas and some stuff that you were buying. This says, what was your favorite pickup? And actually, what we are talking about is what we are buying. So,
that's great. Let me
you have one single favorite pickup that you could say you got in Dallas.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me see which one is my favorite ones here. Well, you know what? I have a few. I bought this guy came and said he won all these in breaks. Let me find if I have them all. Where is it? Excuse me, guys. Oh, it's over here. Here they are. But he won them in breaks, and he gave me a really good deal. This older gentleman did, and these were really cool. It was the Transcendent Wrestling WWE cards, and I got these. And the coolest one, here's a Brock Lesnar that I got autographed, and then the Undertaker, and I think the other one's like Matt Riddle, and and Baron Strowman, wherever the hell he is these days. And then one of my other favorite pickups here that I've also been, this is also one of my bucket list right now that I'm trying to get, are autographed on card or auto cards that are authenticated by the brand. So like Leaf or Panini. And I got one this weekend of one of the POTUS, which is Jimmy Carter. And it's Leaf, serial number, decision, I think 2020. And then on the back, it'll say, this is authentic autograph. I had just also recently purchased, I don't know where it is, but like I sent it for grading. It's a Panini George Bush Sr. autograph card from the Americana set that was pulled out of a pack. So I'm trying to find those, not just something that would be a DNA certified, but something where the card and the autograph, a dual grade would be available. And that was, my favorite pickups, definitely.
With those Transcendent wrestling cards you showed, there was one that I came across on eBay one time, and I couldn't make myself spend the money on it, but it was absolutely amazing. It was a dual auto of Bobby Heenan and Andre the Giant. And
oh my gosh, really? How much was it?
It was a 1 of 1, so it was like the cut, I think, that came out of the box. So it was like the box topper. When you open the Transcendent box. It had a best offer on it, but the asking price was $5,000. And I was just like, it's so hard to market something like that. But an Andre the Giant autograph is just crazy cool to me. And with Heenan on there, I mean, that's like a bonus, but I
definitely.
I was searching for an Andre the Giant autograph.
I mean, if you had the money, that would definitely be a great buy.
Yeah,
and still at 5,000, I still think that's a steal.
Yeah, and it was on my watch list, and one day it was just gone, and it was delisted as unsold. So I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it was sold offline, if the seller did something else with it. It's a card I'll probably never get another shot at, but just an amazing card. It looked great. Had two, it just went together perfect, with Bobby Heenan and Andre the Giant, stuff like that. All right, FD. Now, FD, we know you got a Monster Steph card. I saw that video.
Oh, really?
Thank you. Yeah.
But is there anything and we know you love Steph as well, so I know Steph is going to be on your list of what you're eyeing.
Steph is someone I'll always look at. But I'm interested in, sports to me has a wave to it, right? So you got some players that were in Bill Russell's era, and then you have some players that came on in Magic and Bird's era. Then you have some players that came on with Mike Jordan and Dominique Wilkins and Charles Barkley. And it keeps rolling, right? It went to Kobe's era with that draft class, Steve Nash, everybody that came in. Then it went to LeBron in 2003. And what's the next wave is the question that I always have. Who are the next people? A lot of people were really hot on Zion, extremely hot. When I went to the National, extremely hot on Zion. And where is Zion right now? And that's why I asked about Garland. There are certain players I'll look at that produce a certain way. And then I started thinking about, okay, who is this player? And I saw the comment on Rod Strickland. Like, let's not forget who Rod Strickland was. I don't know if Garland's Rod Strickland. I think he may eventually be Rod Strickland. But I'm always thinking about who is the next wave of player. So those are the kind of things I sit down and think about now. I look at people like Ja Morant is coming up and doing well. But we need him to do with the way he's playing right now for like 5 more seasons before we can really start saying who Ja Morant is. Like I look at Jaren Jackson Jr. He's a good player. He'll play hard for 2 days. He'll take 3 or 4 games off. You just got to know who these guys are. What kind of work ethic do they have? What do they think about their own games? Are they getting better in the offseason? I love to see that Ja came back this year with a jump shot. Didn't have a consistent one before. So those are the things that I'm looking for in players. So, yeah, Curry's one player. I look for a few other GOATs. I still think I need more Magic and Bird probably in my collection. Like I was at a show recently. I started talking to Merle about some Marvel stuff.
Yep.
So
like I collected comic books a lot growing up, and I have a lot of comic books in storage now that I want to break out and start grading more of, or find out which ones I should grade. Then I used to be. There's going to be some episodes coming up where I collected a lot of. Merle talked about movie premieres. I used to collect movie premiere cast sign posters.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, of different movies.
Oh wow!
And I want to start talking about some of that stuff coming up. So.
Oh, I can't wait to check that out.
What's that? Yeah, it'd be,
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna watch that, man. I love shit like that.
We were talking here about what is Merle gonna think of this.
I love it.
So when it's up, I'll let you know. But those are the kind of things that I would get really getting into at a period of time when that stuff was really popular and premieres were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you had like Days of Future Past coming out. You had Captain America, Winter Soldier, the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I was really into that kind of stuff, on getting cast sign stuff from them. So, and then there'll be different things we'll talk about in 2022. But it's going to be much more than just cards. And then now when I go to a show, really, I'm looking for particular cards and great deals on cards. That's why with Neo talking about the Garland card, like those are great deals. You know, if Garland pans out, those are great deals, great flipping opportunities, great investments. Those are the kind of things that's kind of hard to find. So I'll continue to look as I go out, but I'm becoming more and more selective on what I'm actually buying and what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and along the line of the movie posters, years and years and years ago in my first home, I built like a movie room. Like it was like, I don't want to say it was a man cave. It wasn't like a man cave. It was more like a movie type room. And I had acquired an original movie poster from The Godfather 2 from Italy. And it was printed in Italian. It was all printed in Italian. So it was really, really cool. I mean, I really couldn't even read it, but it looked awesome. And that's big and that's framed. And I never actually, when we got our new home and moved, I never actually unpacked it. That frame is still done up in the moving pack and everything, and it's just stored away.
That's a nice piece.
But that was something that was really cool to me. And when I bought it, it wasn't even like an investment thing. It was just like, I liked the Godfather movie. Mm-hmm. I had posters of all kinds of, I had a Tombstone one as well. I had a Reservoir Dogs one. Just a lot of the movies that I liked during that time, but never thought of them as collectibles. I was like, they cost a little bit of money, but I was just like, these are just cool showpieces, you know, when you come into the room here. But yeah, and all those are still actually packed away, and I never even thought about if they were even worth anything or not. This guy, so John says, yes, I do have mad casino stories. I have a mad story from today that I don't even think I can tell because it's just crazy. Probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me in the casino. Didn't happen.
How are you going to tease that?
Yeah, you have to tell us. You can't just
that like that.
Because it's very.
Let's just say don't get fired.
Yeah, right. Let's just say I had I didn't feel very well for like 2 hours. Basically, someone passed away in the casino today, like 20 feet away from me.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Well, I mean, I didn't even know what was happening. They just kind of fell over, and next thing I know, security and paramedics are doing CPR, and it's crazy.
Jeez, Dakota, way to kill the vibe.
Yeah, I think
crying that out of them.
Debbie said crazy thing happened to us. He didn't tell us someone died 20 feet from him. I mean, that's crazy.
That was like I had to go up to the office and be like, man, what the hell just happened?
Understood.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I would need a Xanax before the show.
The show is a Xanax.
Oh no! Oh, good.
And Dakota, we started with Neo. We kind of made our way around the horn slowly, talking about what we're picking up. We know you're in the football and stuff like that. Anything special you want to add?
You started with me. We talked about rare inserts. But can I ask a quick question, FD? Follow up?
Yes.
What you talked about, like guys you're looking for when they're the next wave. When do you think these guys in the NBA show that they're the next wave of great players?
Well, to me, you got to see some things, right? You got to see some consistency in their play. Then you got to see, are they making an all-star team?
Yep.
Are they in today's game? What's huge for me? Where they at on the all-defensive team?
No.
Right.
Okay.
Then are they reliable on their team to win a playoff game when it's game 4, 5, or 6? If you're not checking those boxes for me, we got a lot of Carmelo Anthony's running around, right? We got a lot of guys who offensively can score the basketball. They're not going to do anything on the other side of the ball. And they will tell you that in the interview. Not here for that. Most of players today, their contracts are incentivized on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Most people never talk about that. So, and I think what I love, right, is a guy like Klay Thompson, right? He said in the interview the other day on when he was coming back, and he was talking to Dennis Scott. He used to play with the Orlando Magic. And he said, if I wanted to average 5 to 7 more points a game, I just wouldn't play defense. But I don't play like that.
James Harden, baby.
That's right. So that's what the James Harden. That's the modern day player. But even if you look at a Kevin Durant, he's working on both ends. But he's by himself on that team working on both ends.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't check those certain boxes for me, I'm just, if you're talking about long term, we're talking about holding on to a card over 10 years, over 8 years. Are you checking those boxes? If not, I don't know. Where are you at in the playoffs? When I look back on your career, what have you done in the playoffs? I just can't. And that goes for football, basketball, even baseball. We have baseball is a little bit different because like you have Mike Trout, never even been in the playoffs. But let's say he was on a team where he went to the playoffs and was in the World Series. It would be different.
Mm-hmm.
But like I look at like a Bryce Harper, he does not excite me. I don't care if he won MVP last year. If you watch the games, what does he do in the game? He's swinging for the fences. He'll leave people on base. Doesn't excite me.
Fair enough.
I don't want one Bryce Harper card in my collection.
All right, so Cards and Comics says he just wants a Malcolm Young autographed.
Oh,
Japanese. Now, how many of you guys on the panel raise your hand? Okay, I was going to say if you know who Malcolm Young is.
Dude, look at me. Yeah, of course. Seen him 3 times.
A lot of people will know Angus Young.
Oh yes, this is a brother.
A brother, yeah. The 2 brothers that started the band, but everybody talks about Angus the most with the.
Of course,
score.
yeah. I mean, the band's centered around Angus anyway, so we all know that.
FD, I don't know if this is a new account, Backyard Breaks fanboy.
That's not them.
How's their avatar not the gold kaboom? That's a miss on that account.
It's all good. Backyard Fan Breaks, I appreciate you. It's all good.
So Victor says for you Marvel guys, I don't know. Okay, so and this is the question I got for FD because I think actually Merle may have asked you at Merle. You did a show, and I'm not sure which show it was, but I was watching your video from a show, and FD was on.
Yes,
FD was kind of like shooting his own footage as you were shooting your footage.
That was the Diamond 9 Sports show. That's every Saturday.
Talk with Merle.
Yeah, and you asked him about. Didn't you ask him about Marvel cards? And he said, "Oh, I might be looking, kind of giving it a thought." But I was going to actually ask you that tonight. So we have a question here from Victor for us Marvel card guys. I don't know who that includes. I mean, I'm getting into the Marvel cards, but I'm not going to say I'm a Marvel card guy because I don't know the ins and outs. And there is Marvel card collectors and channels and Instagrams and stuff out there that I'm discovering that you can learn a lot more from. And it's a whole nother market. There's a sports card market and there's a Marvel card market. This isn't just sports card people getting into the Marvel card market. I've learned that there's from getting in there that there's huge Marvel card collectors and they're very collector driven. I just bought a collection and I just know I posted that collection in a YouTube video and my Instagram DMs have been nonstop with people asking me if I'm selling any of those cards. And it's people that I've not normally been familiar with. It's people who have just recently started following me that are from the Marvel card world, not even from the sports card.
Oh, wow.
It's a whole nother demographic. It's a whole nother community, mate, I would say. And, they all have people in their community that they know that do their live streams and things. So it's really, really cool. It's a whole nother world, for lack of a better term. But, Neo, we know you do some with Marvel. You were showing some stuff that you were sending in. Of course, you do a little bit of everything, Merle. FD, have you? I know Dakota's kind of not much into the Marvel. He's branching into the Pokemon stuff.
Oh, wow.
But the question is, other than PMGs, whichever.
Oh, wow.
And the reason why we say PMGs first off when it comes to the Marvel card world is because that's what a lot of people know from the sports card world. Mm-hmm. So when you cross into the Marvel card world, you're kind of like going to look for what you like. The really popular stuff, we talked about it, PMGs, Jambalayas, Intimidation Nation, Platinum Portraits, all the really high-end inserts and parallels from sports cards is going to be the original thing that everybody from the sports card world gravitates to in the Marvel card world. But that may not even be the stuff that the people in the Marvel card world chase. They do chase PMGs, but there's all kinds of other stuff out there that you wouldn't even know exists. I found a set that I liked because it kind of meshed well with the sports cards and the comics, because it reminded me of a Topps Chrome or a Prism. So that's the kind of set that I was kind of like going for. But the cards aren't just driven by the number and the parallel and things like that. It's also driven by the art, the artist. It's a whole nother monster. And I don't know if any of you guys want to add anything to that. I'll show some of the set. I've been showing them on Instagram. There's a set that I like. Now, I like this set, and I don't know if this set is going to go up in value or not. It's just a set that I'm like, okay, this reminds me of a Prism in a Marvel card world. So that's what I was kind of buying, because I believe it meets the criteria. If you're a sports person coming in, it might be a set you fluctuate to when something else is outpriced. So that's a set called Vibranium. And
Like they've already gone up, Steve.
yeah, they're all over my Instagram, but they come in a base, which is just a chromium finish, like would be a Prism. Then they come in a raw, which isn't numbered, but it's got like a disco look to it. That would be something like a silver. And then they start getting into the numbered, where you would have like a red molten that's numbered out of 299. And then they have this one. This is called crack. It's not a cracked ice. It's called refined, but we would refer to it as a cracked ice. And those are numbered out of 99. And then you get ones that look like a mosaic that are called Radiance, and they're numbered out of 50.
Oh,
now,
can you put that a little closer? I can't see it. Oh wow.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's cool.
So they have different tiers. Now, Doctor Strange, he has a base, he has a raw, he has a red, he has a cracked ice, he has one like this, and then they have also one numbered out of 5. So, there's different tiers of the parallels that you can get. All of the characters in. And honestly, I just kind of let me see here. I can show you 2 of the identical ones that are they haven't came yet. And then you also want to look for, I don't want to say rookie card because I don't know what you would call it, but you want to look for like a like someone's like first card. So this again is a cracked ice one of Sam Wilson, Captain America, and this is the Radiance, and this is the Radiance here. So this is Sam Wilson. This is the first card printed of Sam Wilson in
what year is that? This
is 2015. So this is a popular card out of the set because this is the first time you see Sam Wilson as Captain America on a card. Miles Morales, the first card is in here. Spider-Gwen's first card is in here. So if you're looking for a good set that has some good first cards as well as some good parallels, I kind of stumbled into that set and I liked it. Neo is right. They're going up in price. But just 2 to 3 weeks ago when I was buying them, they were really affordable.
I just snagged a Magneto of the Molten for color match.
I just thought that was a really cool set.
I think the biggest thing people are sleeping on, because I don't think most people that are just coming in know that they even exist, are the Epac Achievements.
Oh, yes.
They're so rare, and I don't think people, and I don't even understand how rare they are, because there's no real number to them. They're kind of mysterious, like almost like Kabooms or Genesis or whatever. But you had to trade in certain amounts of cards to unlock the Epac achievement, and then you could trade in more cards to unlock a more rare thing. And I don't think people have figured that out yet. Like which ones are from which sets, which ones exist, how do you get them? How rare does that make that? Because I think some of the rarity on some of that stuff is like extremely low. And I'm not sure people. I think the Marvel people have cracked that code and are running around trying to get their hands on them before we figure it out. But
this is one like
Steve has one.
I think. Like Neo's talking about in 2018, Precious Metal Gems. It has a set. The set still runs. Everybody knows 13 and 15 is being really high end. 17 being the Spider-Man set is getting real popular. 2018 on, it's still affordable entry level PMGs. I just acquired in a in a collection, a complete set of 2018. And I actually bought the collection off of Cards and Comics, who's right here in the chat. And this was one of the cards. I didn't know anything about it, except I watched his video and he talked about it. This card wasn't in the set, but
That's pretty.
There was no Wolverine in that set. So this was their version of Wolverine for the set, but the only way to get this was to do an Epac achievement. So there was 49 cards in the set, and I guess this would have made card number 50. It's not numbered. It doesn't have like a number in the set. It actually says MB0. So this would be card 0. So this would make your set a complete 50 card set by completing the Epac achievement. I don't know what that consisted of. I don't know how rare this is. So again, but
have you bought anything from the Upper Deck Epacs website?
I have, just because I accidentally so I bought a Doctor Strange sketch card because I don't collect sketch cards, but I like Doctor Strange. It was awesome looking art. And I bought it off eBay, and then the guy was like, "Okay, send me your Epac account so I can trade it over to you." And I'm like, "What did I just buy?" I'm like, I thought I was getting a card in the mail, right? I didn't read the print. So I went over there and I signed up, and then that's how I actually discovered it. And this was just like a few months ago. And it is a physical card. It's just at Upper Deck, and I got to tell them to send it to me when I want it. They store it in like a vault, just like
I think they're at ComC, actually, is what I was told. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they are. ComC holds the Epac stuff.
Okay, so basically that's what I had to do, and I can go on there anytime on the Upper Deck website and say, send me my cards, and they'll send them to me. So at first I thought I just bought a digital card, and I was like, oh my God, what did I do?
I would think so too.
And then I was like, okay, this is cool.
So a question I have, I've asked a few people at shows, if you have a sketch card of an artist, in order for that card to become more popular, does the artist need to become more popular?
The sketch cards are a funny,
good question.
Yeah, the sketch cards are a funny ball game because they revolve around the artist and the actual art themselves. Because they're all one of ones, but the sketch cards are going to have to appeal to someone from an aesthetic. Somebody's going to have to be like, "Oh, I really love that art, and I really love that picture." Like me, the reason I bought that Doctor Strange because I thought it looked good. It was still on the market, so apparently there wasn't anybody else out there that thought it looked as good as I did for the price. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird game, I believe, in the sketch cards. And I don't dabble in those because, again, I'm very new to Marvel. I acquired a collection that had some cool stuff in it. Great deal from Cards and Comics. Again, thank you. And
I only asked the question because if that was a Jim Lee sketch card, everybody knows who Jim Lee is.
Yes.
Right. There was a Todd McFarlane. Everybody knows who Todd McFarlane. But if it's an artist that most people don't know, and I know it's a one-on-one, how does that help or detract from the value of the card when you compare it to another one-on-one sketch?
Oh, yeah. When you're talking about the popularity of the artist, that adds to the desire. And there's artists out now that are popular that I just haven't learned about because, when we're talking about McFarlane and Jim Lee, I mean, these guys are older.
Those are the goats.
But I know that I think I've heard of one called Peach Momoko because I heard people talk about that all the time.
And her stuff goes for a fortune.
So I know that her stuff is popular because her comic books are popular. So I'm going to guess that her art cards are as popular as well. Like her variants in the comic book world are.
She had an entire set of Marvel anime. It was 100% drawn by Peach. The 2020 Marvel anime set that came out. I think it was 2020. Might have been 2019.
Okay, so to veer off topic a little bit and to get Dakota back into the conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Mercer85 and multiple people have been asking about the Messi and the suspect fake autos. So, like I said, I don't like to speak on anything that I'm not really sure of. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're fake or that they're real. I guess what's his name, Steve Grad or whatever, was the authenticator used on the video that I watched that was talking about how Messi doesn't sign or didn't sign through these time periods. But he's also had shade in the hobby once before, authentic with Upper Deck, I believe. And I'm not 100% sure if that's the company or whatever. Anyway, he's the guy that is on Pawn Stars as well, but we all know that that's scripted. So
yes, it is.
So Any thoughts on that? We can start. Anybody, whoever wants to just dive right in.
Well, I don't know anything about it, but here goes my opinion. Just from watching the short little video clip, the hobby really showed their ass. You know, it doesn't matter that, you know, this guy, you know, had fakes and stuff. You can't just group around a guy when the cops are taking them. And, you know, I wish you were dead and all this stuff. Just nonsense, man. And, you know, you talked about the Dallas show earlier. The Dallas show's a good show, but it is a very hypey show. And really, it's funny. What is it? Maybe 5 times a year. And they each kind of have their own feel. And so sometimes they feel a little too hypey for me, and sometimes they feel just right. And just based off of that video, I'm glad I didn't go to this one.
Talking about the guy that was selling fake cards at
you're talking about two different things.
You're talking.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were talking about the Dallas thing. I didn't know like what the specific cards were.
These are actually, I think, pack pulled Panini autos. You know, some people say Luca's mom signed some of Luca's cards.
Yes.
Well, basically, they're making the claim that some of Messi's cards were signed by someone that he got to sign cards for him.
Oh yeah, I didn't know anything about that. Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
No. Yeah, no, I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah,
But
I'm not a soccer
because
guy.
we were
So.
maybe going to talk about that other thing, and you've already.
Let me just ask this question though: if someone else signs a card, if I'm signing Dakota's cards,
Yes.
and the market accepts my signature, what problems do we have?
Nothing if no one finds out about it.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. When I hear people signing for, like, there was some talk of LaMelo Ball changed his autograph to a LB, and some people said, well, he's not signing his stuff anymore. But if the market, we have cards where the player never wore a jersey, and people are accepting that as that's good by me, and that card is still $10,000. Like, what difference does it make?
If no one knows, I think it's fine. I think if it comes out, then it would be an issue.
Yeah, look at how the Dak Prescott stuff fell out once that came out with the auto pen. I mean, all that stuff had to get pulled back and replaced, and you know, people had a fit about that. But once they found out about it, the Luca mom thing is like rumored heavily, but it's never actually
been confirmed.
Concrete evidence.
So, I guess. Whoops. Any Storm is saying they were on earlier. Proof is posted. I'm not sure if we're on the same thing or not. Is that,
yeah, everybody's all over the place with two different stories.
Yeah, that happened in the chat. They might be talking about something else. But anyway, yeah, I would guess, you know, okay, first of all, the people who they're saying between this year and this product and this product, if you have a Messi auto, it's not real. I'm pretty sure if you're the owner of that card, you're going to say that it's real. What do? Do you go out and have a card that's pack pulled and authenticated on the back, re-authenticated from a third party, like a Beckett or something? He did have a signing session with Panini, in 2016, where Panini actually watched him sign the cards. And that's the thing, you know, a lot of the old Upper Deck products on the back, it says this was witnessed by an Upper Deck representative. Nowadays, they just say it's guaranteed by Panini or it's guaranteed by whoever. It doesn't say so-and-so witnessed this with a signature on the back and stuff. I have, it's in the case down here. I got two big Zion. This is what I got to carry through the airport in Atlanta. This and this. But,
oh yeah, that's a lot of fun carrying those things through the airport. That was my first time. But
yeah, I guess unless some more definitive evidence comes out about these Messis, there's going to be people claiming some are real, some are fake. Mine's not, you know, if you're an owner, you're probably not going to walk around saying, oh, mine's fake, I accept it. You know what I mean? You're either going to get a third party or something like that.
Where do the claims like originate from? Is it like certain collectors that said that, or?
I saw a couple YouTube videos on it, or I saw one.
I think it's like the autos change over time enough that people start to question things, and then, you know, people start digging.
They thought his L looked funny on some of the items, but
well, I went from like they knew the years that he legit signed because he did the in person with Panini, so they knew those ones were real. And then it was like the off years. It was like every other year it went back and forth. It was like one year it was signed one way, and they knew that was the year he signed in front of Panini. And then the next year, the L or something, the swoop or loop on the L looked completely different. And then it switched back to the way that it was when he signed in front of Panini. And then it switched back again after that is essentially, I think, what threw up the flags. I forget the years involved. Sports Card Radio did a good quick little
But at my job,
5-minute video on it.
At my job, and this is no big deal, but I probably sign 25 to 50. It all depends on the day, documents a day with my signature. And my signature does not look the same on all of them. Now,
I remember one time I went to the bank and I was getting some stuff done, and I signed a document, and they said, "Let me look at your driver's license." And I didn't even realize this. My signature on the driver's license looked nothing like what I had just signed. I didn't even realize until they compared them and asked me to sign it again. And then I tried to get closer. And then we may have a situation where people are sending things to Messi's or whoever's representatives to get stuff signed, and then it may be sent back. It could be the logistics of getting someone's autograph. And then I've collected autographs since I was 13. There are some players, like let's take a Rod Carew. His autograph is not the same today as it was in the late 80s, early 90s, for whatever reasons. So there are autographs that change over time. LeBron's autograph is nothing like it was his rookie year.
Giannis has changed.
Imagine, yeah.
Giannis has changed within his rookie year.
Yeah.
He went from signing full to signing initials.
Yep.
And all of us, if you've ever had a stack of papers that you got to go through and sign, as you get more and more through it, you get fatigued, and sometimes some of your letters might get loopy. You might slide on the table, but you keep on going and you keep on. By the end, you look at your top signature and then look at signature 50.
Now, the only person I've met in person that was conscious of that was Joe Montana.
Oh, really?
He talked about how he wanted his autograph. He would take his time, and he wanted each one to look similar. But there are some people that you meet that's what most people at an autograph show, like you go to the TriStar, you want the early number ticket. You don't want the ticket where the person is on 400.
No.
Yeah, right.
Good point. Good point, FD.
Yeah. And I will say, and I don't know, maybe I just don't own enough modern day autos or ultra modern autos, but I will say I feel like older players took more pride in their signature. And their signature
for sure.
and clean. I have a couple of different Dr. J autographs that look absolutely like it's like he intentionally is like, no, I want my name to look good when I sign it. Dale Earnhardt stuff is the same.
Oh, yeah, he's one of the nicest, definitely.
I saw your Dale Earnhardt card.
Beautiful.
That's a great card. Yeah, great autograph.
That's a beautiful. That's one we were talking about at the show this weekend, Steve. Your card.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of people that came to my table, we were talking about you, and they're like, oh, man, we love that card he has of Dale Earnhardt. That's one of the most beautiful autographs ever.
Yeah, and I have multiple cards of his, and that are not even the upper end, upper deck, like his lower end press pass and classic stuff. He signs all those cards nice. Julius Erving's autograph is amazing. And
I like this one. I've showed this before. This is Star Wars, but whoops.
Yeah, that's
let's see.
That's a nice autograph.
This is Ahsoka Tano from the
great.
cartoon. So it's Ashley Eckstein, but she signs her name and she signs the character name underneath it. And since they both start with A, she uses the same A for both.
Oh, that's cool.
Just the way
see, it's just like a big, yeah. It's like a symbol.
Yeah, so she has the Ashley Eckstein, and it's Ahsoka Tano underneath it, which I always thought was really cool.
That.
Hey, I am a salary employee. I get paid salary to sign documents. The funny thing is the stuff that I sign gets ripped up at the end of the night, and I got to re-sign all the same stuff again the next day.
And I think one good attribute, the thing to talk about too, most players don't collect anything. So how we look at an autograph as being like we want the same stroke and the way it looks, that player is sitting down for like I heard a story. I got a Kobe Bryant autograph here in LA one time when he was alive. And the person who orchestrated the whole autograph deal with Panini, who he was signing with, said that Kobe sat down for 45 minutes to sign. So you could bring in all kind of items. As soon as the clock hit 45 minutes, he got up and walked away. So these guys they're not focused on what does this look like. This is a time requirement for them and probably means so much of a payment, and then they're moving on.
I just got my first Kobe auto graded. So,
nice.
Actually, it got raw card review. I sent it to Kenneth, and he took it to Dallas. So Kenny Fornos took it to Dallas for me to have raw card review done. And the card came back. It's a 2002 Black Diamond Upper Deck. So it's out of Ultimate Collection, but it was a Black Diamond buyback numbered out of 40. So the card graded out of 9 and the auto graded out of 10. So I was super pumped about that. And then he's actually went ahead and kept it with Beckett. So they're going to go ahead and hard slab it now. So I should be getting that back soon. Probably move it, or definitely take it to Atlanta with me. But yeah, super, super cool card. Let's see. Got some comments here. Some modern players can't even print their name. Yeah.
Multiple people have mentioned it. Ken Griffey Jr. probably has the best autograph in professional
He
sports.
does.
That's a nice one. Yes.
He does have a nice auto.
Agree.
Dr. Mantis is talking about Murray cards getting ready to dip. Are we still sitting at like 21-0 in that?
21-0, and he looks terrible.
Terrible.
Murray has looked
sloppy,
awful.
very sloppy. Especially that pick 6 he did. That was terrible.
And I don't even think the Rams are. I mean, I'm not paying super close attention, but I don't even think they're playing that great offensively, and they just look terrible.
It looks like they're about to score again. I think they're on the 11-yard line.
Yeah, I saw Beckham scored a touchdown, which was his first postseason touchdown, which I did not realize.
He also just threw like a 30-yard pass.
See
He
that
traveled
right
straight up like 25 yards in the air.
Is anyone here from
I wish the Browns had a wide receiver like that.
Will says Minnesota people are weird. I've never been to Minnesota.
I lived for a summer in Minneapolis.
A lot of wrestlers are from Minnesota, huh, Merle?
Yeah, yes, they are. Yeah, Ric Flair originally is before he moved to Charlotte.
Brock Lesnar and Kurt Hennig and Rick.
Oh, they like the AEWA guys?
Yeah.
From the 70s and 80s?
There's a blast from the past name there. Andrew Jones, if that's the Andrew Jones from the Braves. And then
oh, yeah, definitely.
That's correct.
Yep.
Soto's auto is really nice. I like Juan Soto's auto.
It is a nice autograph.
Especially his older ones. You could tell he took, like, his first Bowman Chrome autos are all very clean and very legible. He's gotten a little sloppier as time's gone on, but his early auto stuff is very nice looking.
And you know what the thing is that we're here talking about players who have great autos. And most of the time what consumes the conversation is the bad ones. So there's probably way more great looking autos and signatures out there than they are bad ones. And it's always the bad ones that people tend to focus on and say, oh, this is fake, or this, he only signs his initials, or this, that, and the other. But there's great autos out there to go after of great young and old players. And we just never focus on that part of it. Not we as in us as in general, but as a hobby, you tend to get more the bad or the negative tends to draw more attention than the cool stuff, you know.
Hey, just an update. Rams just scored. It's 28.
Oh damn.
I was wrong. I thought Phoenix was going to win this game. So completely wrong.
Win the Super Bowl earlier this week.
What's that?
What?
On Neo's the other night, I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl.
You're looking good right now, Steve.
Yeah, right. They're going to use
our real good. Yeah.
So if the Rams win, who do they play? The Pack? No, who do they play?
No.
Winner plays Tampa, I think.
Winner plays Tampa.
Yeah.
I think this is more of an indictment of the Cardinals than anything positive to say about the Rams. I mean, they are playing well, but I think the Cardinals look terrible tonight.
This might be Cliff Kingsbury's last game. I mean, they look,
think so, really?
bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dakota, you had something you wanted to say, I thought. And
well, it was just a graphic. I put it in the chat. Odell has 40 pass yards. Kyler Murray has 28.
Oh, geez.
Will they run an end around pass or something?
They run 2. I think he's got at least 2 complete passes already.
The D is eating him up, man.
Cards and Comics says Brady's autos keep getting smaller. I don't have enough Brady autos to compare.
It's starting to look like Fitzgerald was a very smart man, though, for not coming back this year. I always wondered why he didn't come back this year.
Who?
Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzy. Yeah. I thought that was weird too, right? He didn't come back. Yeah.
Yep.
So here's a hot take, hot off the comments, guys. And Glorious P says Kyler Murray is about to be a good buy low candidate. So let's talk about some of the losers in the playoffs and potential dips and potential opportunity. Still a gamble, but and like FD said earlier, there's going to always be guys that put up stats.
Mm-hmm.
But where's the guys that can win the championships, and who's the guy you want on the field to win a game for you in crunch time. So
you got to think about this though. Kyler Murray came out, right? His cards were very high. He won the Heisman, right? His cards started getting high, so prices started going up. This is the first time he's ever been tested, ever.
And I feel like
he can't stay healthy either.
Yeah, earlier this season and last season, when he was playing his best football, it just took like a minor ding type injury, like a small shoulder or something like that. And then he just wasn't the same. It happened last year. It happened with him again this year. And nobody's ever 100% in what now is a 17-game NFL season. That's just too much. It's just too much destruction going on out there for somebody to wake up every day and practice and go out there and be 100%. So, football's always been a game of physical and mental toughness because nobody's ever 100%. So sometimes that can be what a player may lack, whether it be physical or mental toughness. Can they get out there and play hurt? Can they be Terrell Owens playing for the Eagles, wanted to win a Super Bowl so bad, went out there and was playing on a broken leg for So it's like,
that's crazy.
Would that happen today? I don't think so. Maybe people have too much money invested in their players to risk anything like that happening, to risk their future. But with that being said, never being 100%, is Kyler Murray the type of player that can toughen up and play through nagging injuries and still be very effective? Because so far, at 100%, first few weeks of the season, he's great. Once he starts to get banged up a little bit, he tends to not play that high caliber football.
I'll just say this. It's all about the style of the play of the player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Murray has to run around to be successful. So if he sprains an ankle, 50% of his game or 75% of his game, because there's always a fake of am I about to run? That's out the window. So now he has to be a pocket passer. He's not going to do well.
No.
Lamar Jackson sprains an ankle. His whole game is about running around. So he's going to be ineffective. Now, if Tom Brady sprains an ankle, it is a very small percentage of his game has been effective.
That's so true.
Didn't Carson Wentz play with like 2 broken feet this year?
Yes.
Probably.
I believe it.
Hey.
Yep.
I think like with these guys, a big reason why I'm like off on Ja, right, is because of his build. He's so thin. When you look at Kyler, he's small, but he's thick. I mean, he's like Russell Wilson. And Russ, he's a guy who's been mobile now, 10 years in the league, for the first time has missed a game. I think Kyler is a guy, when I look at him, he looks like someone to me who can have a long, successful career. He's got to take care of his body, and he's got to be smarter about not getting hit. It's the 2 things he's got to do. If he's willing to pump $1 million into his body every year, just like Russ Wilson, just like LeBron, just like Brady, I think he'll make it and avoid the big hits. And honestly, the same thing for Josh Allen, right? Big build, looks just like Big Ben. If he doesn't put the time and effort into his body, 15 years from now, he's going to look like Big Ben did yesterday. If he does put the time and effort, he's going to look like Brady, right? I mean, that's the difference.
And I saw a video of Big Ben from his rookie year this week, and he looked like a totally different person. His mobility in the pocket, it was a totally different person. He can't do anything now. So I agree totally with what Dakota's saying.
Yeah, Cards and Comics
huge, man.
Cards and Comics brings up 2 names that I absolutely love in the long term right here. Whether you're buying autographs or rookie cards or just older 2nd, 3rd, 4th, year cards of these guys, game used patches. Willie Mays and Jim Brown now. No surprise on the names, but I highly believe these 2 players are undervalued in football and the baseball market, in the market overall. Everybody knows I've been on the hunt for a nice 52 tops Mays. I haven't been able to land on. The Jim Brown is secondary to the Mays. When I compare Willie Mays cards to Mickey Mantle cards, I'm not trying to compare the players. I'm not trying to compare the markets that they're in. But there's just a price discrepancy there. Absolutely love the value on these 2 players. What do you guys think? Do you guys have any nice cards of these players? I did pick up my first Willie Mays auto 2 Philly shows ago. It was actually a relic auto, and that's in a mag, and that's in my case, and that's
what brand? Is it a certain brand? Like card authenticated auto or what?
It's pack pulled. It's pack
Yeah,
pulled.
'cause Maze, like Cards and Comics said, Maze is heavily forged. I was at a show in 2015 to get Barry Bonds' autograph. A guy had a whole table of Maze baseballs. I'm talking about 25, 28 baseballs, all signed by
Wow.
Maze. All the autographs looked exactly the same. So I'm walking up knowing this stuff is fake. So a guy went and bought a ball, went right over to PSA. Well, you could see from that table what PSA was. PSA said it was fake. He brought it back, and this guy did not want to give him a refund.
Mm.
And that became an argument right in the middle of the show. A huge argument where the guy eventually gave him a refund. But you can look at these balls. You know you're not going to get a Willie Mays ball for $125.
No.
Yep.
You shouldn't.
It's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Walk away.
That's right. It's not true.
Yeah, this one is a Don Russ Leaf pack auto that says
Those are nice. Look at the inscription.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's how he signs his 5 and his 4. That's very nice.
yeah.
How much did you have to pay for that, Steve? May I ask?
This is $450.
Oh wow,
That's
nothing.
deal.
Yeah,
he
my
had it
God.
he had it tagged 600, and we negotiated. He come to 450. You know, when you pull out the cash, you know, he was like 500 my lowest. I'm like, well, I got 450 cash in my pocket, or I got to run away to the ATM, and then they're scared you're not going to come back. Oh, 450 sounds like a deal. So
I know.
The
Yeah.
MVP 54 is going to make that card. I mean,
The old I gotta run to the ATM trick.
and I wasn't even hunting I was just looking for a nice Willy auto. That was a deal. I wasn't. I just happened to be lucky to find one with an inscription. And when I bought it, I wasn't even thinking about the inscription. I was just like, "There's the Willie Mays card that I like." And first card I bought at the Philly show 2 shows ago, not the last one, but the one before that.
well, Mr. Mays' last sign is in person. He signed no inscriptions.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched some of your videos where you've talked about some of the autos you have with lots of inscriptions that are super.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of. Let me see if I can find one. But I'll tell you a quick story on Willie Mays. I saw my mom was a great supporter of everything I've ever done. Dad, too. But mom went to a show with me in 2001. We saw Willie Mays in Chicago, and I had him sign a Michelin Ness jersey and had him put down 15 inscriptions.
Whoa.
And he did not want to do it.
Get him.
He told me he wasn't going to do that. But he did do it.
Oh, he did do it. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I kind of talked to him. Man. You know,
He's
told him,
sweet-talked
hey,
him.
man, I can let everybody else leave. You know, we're big fans. We've been big fans for years. And he finally did it. But I want to show you a picture. I had a picture of a jersey I had signed by, see if I can pull it up here, by Rod Carew. I had him put a lot of inscriptions in. See if I can find it before we get off here.
You see, I'm scanning the chat here. People are talking about Mays and Mantle. Will says Mantle was amazing before he tore up his knee. I don't think anybody's arguing Mantle's talent. We all know Mantle was great. Just look at the price of his cards. You're a San Francisco guy, and you'll put money into Mantle all day before Mays. I mean, I'm not baller enough to roll a bunch of money up into Mantle, so I kind of look for players that I think are undervalued, and that's where I think, like I said, Jim Brown and Willie Mays are undervalued, I think was my statement. I think Mantle is fairly priced. I'm not going to say he's overpriced. I'm just going to say that I think Mays is underpriced.
I've had Will on the channel when Will's a baller and Will puts money into Mantle. So
And Mantle
he's not
cards
just
are
some
still
internet
going up.
person saying that. I mean, he's got the receipts.
Yeah, they're still going up.
Oh, I know. Will's followed the channel for a long time. I know he's talked about Mantle and Mays, I believe. But
I'm sure
I
he
know,
likes both. He's a
I think he
baseball
has
guy.
because when I was talking about myself wanting to get one, he was talking about that one.
Let me know if you all can see this picture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So
Rod
I met-
Carew. Right?
Yeah, so I met Rod Carew. I had him put a bunch of inscriptions down. See if you can see this.
Oh my goodness. He signed a whole paragraph.
Oh my
And he's
gosh.
And he signed it 1-on-1.
Oh, that's awesome.
He signed this jersey for over an hour.
Oh my gosh.
And we talked about baseball the whole time.
That's so cool.
That's crazy, man.
This was the stuff I was diving into before Rolling with FT started.
Oh,
I
really?
like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a
yeah.
great story.
And when was that? When was that signed?
2019, September 2019.
Oh, wow. Just that soon.
Yeah.
AI8 Sports says, would we invest in Reggie Jackson autos? That's a very
That'd be
broad
cool.
question. I guess it would have to be a very specific card or something.
Yeah, he signs a lot.
Yeah,
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
he
signs a
signed
lot.
a lot. One player that I would invest
That was
in,
one of my favorite players as a kid.
one player that I would choose over for myself would choose over investing over Reggie Jackson. That is super undervalued. People don't realize how good of a player this guy was, and he was also a coach. Frank Robinson.
Mm.
I think Frank Robinson's body of work. I mean, go look up his stats, and as well as
573 home runs, right, or something. Right? What? Something.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
MVPs in both leagues, I believe. He wasn't just a power hitter. He flirted with 300 RBI machine. Did he win a triple crown?
He won a triple crown. Yep.
So, and then he went into the coaching. And he was the first African American coach in Major League Baseball. Wasn't a bad coach either. He was a good coach. He coached the Orioles. I was an Orioles fan, and he played for the Orioles. Mm-hmm. His rookie cards and his autographs can be obtained for. And I mean, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Also, so that's going to limit his signing. So it's like, to me, I think when we start just throwing out random baseball names, like Reggie Jackson was great. He's not a random player. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a legend. But there's some names out there that, again, offer some really good value.
Actually have his auto on a 1997 All-Star Game program when the All-Star Game was in Cleveland.
Nice.
Reggie or Frank?
Frank Robinson. Yeah, he did a signing at the Fan Fest that I got.
That's a great piece.
Probably 15, 16 years old.
That's cool.
That's a great piece.
Oh, here's one.
Where that's at? It's sitting in a tote somewhere.
I have a Frank right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is I like this Upper Deck set. I mean, this was like $70, and it was already slabbed.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you get a player with all the accolades that I just talked about, and plus his significance in being the first manager, first African American manager. He's got baseball history as well as being a great player. I don't know. I like to look at this card. I'm staring at it right now, and I can't stop.
That's one of the most beautiful sets in sports cards histories. 99 Upper Deck SP signatures. These are beautiful cards. Jack Youngblood, yeah. It's I'm pretty sure it's in basketball too. So all three major sports, and they did a beautiful job with the white backgrounds. The Youngblood auto is kind of big, but usually the auto is blue ink on the white. Just beautiful cards. Great card there, Steve.
Those are great. And look at Youngblood's signature. That's just different, man.
Yeah, he's got a big one. One of those old timers, and that's another thing about these sets. Just like Steve showed, this is the same year. Sorry for the glare, y'all.
Yeah.
But these are all old timers, and they just all have beautiful signatures. Look how straight that is. What a great signature.
His signature, Frank's signature, is beautiful.
Well, they didn't have to sign 1 million Topps or Panini cards back in those days.
Yeah, they weren't.
That also talks to the scarcity of some of these. Even though they're not serial numbered, there's not a lot of them floating around.
Mm-hmm.
I had one up here. So, and Michael says Frank is by far his favorite player. Adam R asks, is anyone buying Mike Tyson cards at all? And let's not just limit this to Mike Tyson. How about boxing cards, older stuff, Cassius Clay, Sugar Ray Robinson,
I would love to. I bought a autographed Muhammad Ali Leaf card that I just got graded recently, and also a Leaf Mike Tyson autograph card. But and I also had some boxing. I had some, and I didn't buy any. I want to know if you guys. I mean, if it's a good investment for. I had some Oscar De La Hoya's autographed. Some of the Upper Deck, the ones that were from like 10 years ago. There was a Jordan one too. I think different other sports players, and they're like. They're very nice, very detailed. They have kind of like a gold or silver frame to them, and they're a lot of layers to the card. I don't know if you know what. I don't know specifically what it was, what set this is, but there was Oscar De La Hoya, and I think they're numbered out to 10. But I passed on it, and I felt like it was a pretty good deal. But
I would think these would be great investments.
Yeah,
just great. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a Tyson. They're kind of popular though. One guy I would like to have one of. I would like the 48 Leaf of Jack Johnson. You know, he's from Galveston, Texas, which is 15 minutes south. I mean, that's basically where I'm from, more or less. And you know, the first African American heavyweight title, and you know, during the Jim Crow era too. I mean, just an amazing guy. You know, from my area too. So like, I would like that.
Yeah, I believe Ryan from Breakout Cards had one of those. That was one of the cards he was looking to acquire, and he finally got one. I remember.
Was he looking for a 48? I know he likes outdoor boxing, but
yeah, I don't. He likes. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly the year,
remember.
but yeah, I remember that. There's two cool cards that I've always wanted. I don't know why I haven't gone out and gotten them. And I think it's 92 Pro Line. It could be 91, but Muhammad Ali and a Miami Dolphins jacket, which is my favorite.
Oh, Steve, I would love that, dude.
And he autographed, you know, and they're autographed. But some of them he signed Cassius Clay. Some of them he signed Muhammad Ali. I'd like to get a copy of both. I think the Cassius Clay is a little harder to find, but it's just awesome that Muhammad Ali is wearing a jacket of my favorite. I think it's old, you know, starter jackets back in the day. Who had a starter pullover back in the day?
Oh yeah, yeah. Those are being aware.
Yeah, I think those Pro Line autograph cards or that set were all like different people wearing NFL jackets.
Yeah, they were wearing the NFL jackets. Some of them had Zubaz on
I
them.
had an autographed one of OJ earlier, and I got it sent graded to BGS 8.5, and I sold it like 5 times more than what I paid for. I paid nothing for it raw, which I was very surprised of.
Who in the chat is old enough and man/woman enough to admit that they were rocking some Zubaz pants back in the day with the colored stripes? It looked like the zebra stripes. They're all colored. NFL colored. No, you don't remember the Zubaz?
I don't know. I do remember them, but I didn't wear them, man.
Never had a pair. All the players were wearing them. All the players were wearing. Dan Marino wore them. You know?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
He had.
That's how I remember them.
Dan is a hip guy. Yeah.
Man, now, what if they came out today with Zubaz worn patch cards from Throwback? They found
that'd be cool. Oh, that's a good idea, Steve.
Worn Zubaz. That would be so throwback. Because look, there was an awesome card I saw that was a Reebok pump shoe patch card.
I saw that.
Dominique Wilkins or something.
Yeah. One. It had the actual ball pump. Now that
was sweet.
I don't care who is on that card. That card is awesome just because of the patch that's on it. Do you imagine having some throwback Zubaz? He is the Zubaz, Dan Marino.
Well, I remember rocking those pumps to high school.
Oh yeah.
When D Brown was in the slam dunk contest.
Yeah, D Brown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he was like when he bent over on the court and pumped them up, people went crazy.
And they came with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Celtics. I remember because I'm a Celtics fan, and I remember I was like, "Oh, Brown is the future." He just won the slam dunk contest, not realizing that it really didn't matter if you win the slam dunk contest. That was back when I remember Kenny Skywalker used to like win it.
Yeah, he was a jumper. He was a leaper. What happened to? Can we get into this? What happened to the slam dunk contest?
Just got burned out.
I don't watch that anymore. I never watch that now.
Because we see so much of it.
And the star players in the league don't get into it. You know, you had Jordan Dominique, you had Kobe as a rookie, but these star players today are not getting in it.
I remember when we did Harold Miner win it, and then everybody started calling him Baby Jordan because he won.
They did.
But Harold Miner didn't have a jump shot, so that team.
I could potentially go to the NBA All-Star game this year. It's in Cleveland.
Oh, that'd be a nice time.
To
go to.
Oh, newsflash: the Cardinals have scored.
Oh wow! Finally,
I stopped
come back.
Pants guy.
Also, more of a parachute pants guy. That was me. Parachute pants.
I was cargo shorts.
And I saw the comment "hammer pants." I remember the hammer pants, from all the hammer videos. But I remember you used to be able to buy like a pant and shirt set called Skids. I don't know if anybody remembers Skids. And it had like the little symbol for the clothing was like a street, like a swerve ahead or whatever street sign, like you would see, like a caution ahead sign, but a car with the skid marks behind it. And they were always on the back pocket. I don't know if anybody remembers Skids.
I do.
I must be way older than everybody else on the panel. I know I'm older than
No. I remember all of these things very well, Steve.
And we were rocking
the older tier.
FUBU. Those things were very popular, like when I was in high school, especially crisscross.
Oh yeah,
No,
I know.
merry-go-round and Chess King when I was in high school. Remember Chess
I
King?
remember Chess
FD.
King. I remember Chess
Merry-
King.
What was that Italian brand that was really
Kids.
popular?
Merry-go-round is where you can buy the skid sets, and where I live. So let's. There is something I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Zach Levine injury.
Ooh, what
I haven't
happened?
gotten on that, but I'm going to guess it's season ending.
What?
They haven't actually
I don't-
said they've been quiet on that. The KD news came out fast with him being out 4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah, right.
but no one said anything about the Zach Levine injury.
No, I hadn't
This
heard
seemed
this
weird.
news at all.
He
I
got
thought
hurt on Friday night during the Friday night live stream, I think, on Dakota's channel.
Okay.
The other night he got injured.
this
This
is
said to be
terrible.
reevaluated in
I
a
haven't
week.
seen an update either, guys. When I go to work, I'm like tied up. and-
Yeah. All
Was that more, if you don't hear anything, is that more of a good thing or a bad thing? I'd assume that's bad.
well, I'm reading. It says that they're saying there's no structural damage and he's going to be reevaluated next week.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I mean, I'm hopeful because
Sounds like a week or two.
for the Bulls to be, as of yesterday, I guess they were. Are they still number one?
Oh,
Yeah, I think
yes.
that's a-
There's 6 teams within 2.5 games of first place in the East.
Right,
but
but
the Nets
NBA
lost
Eastern
again
Conference
tonight.
standings are
I'm
wild.
just saying to look at where the Bulls were and where they are. Coming off last season where they were, and look, they were. You could tell they were definitely trying to build a team with the pieces they were bringing in to actually do that. And the young players there playing well, DeRozan coming in and playing well. Kobe White
coming back. Yep.
coming back and actually contributing, which gives them another piece. I was just hoping that, to see a Chicago basketball team competitive has kind of been something that hasn't, been, I always say, commonplace recently. So I just think it's awesome that they were in the position they were in, and I would hate for them to have to, to really, if they lose their top scorer. I think there's other guys there that can contribute, but if they were to lose their top scorer, to have their season end that way, and which they may have gone on and been fine. And that was going to be my question. I was thinking Levine was going to be out, and I was going to ask you guys what you think the Bulls' chances would be. So let's just say, who do you guys like out of the East?
Oh my gosh.
And we're not going to talk about the Cavs, because the Cavs have taken up too much time on multiple live streams for the past 2 weeks. The Cavs have gotten their share of airtime.
Well, I
They're
noticed
7-3
that
in
the
their
Heat
last
are already in second place right now. They've really pulled ahead quietly. The Heat have heat.
Yeah. The Heat have been a good team just because they play – again, I guess I'm going to have to talk about the Cavs. They don't have –
I got banned. The hottest team in the Eastern Conference. We're not allowed to talk about them.
seem to contribute. And not one guy usually stands out head and shoulders above the rest. It's kind of like a great – the team is well coached and they all contribute. And they don't rely on one or two guys that have a great night. And if those guys have an off night, they lose. They have players that can fill in. And so that maybe depth is the answer that I'm looking for. That's where I am with the Heat. But
let me just ask this, though. Could any team from the East win the championship this year?
Well, of course.
Yeah, I think
anybody's
I
good.
think the Bucks could.
You think who could?
The Bucks.
Right.
I mean, Giannis is still probably the best player in the NBA. I mean, yeah, the Warriors are probably the best team in the NBA, but
I think when they get to the playoffs, missing players like PJ Tucker, it's going to be a problem for Milwaukee.
it could be. Giannis just really showed me something in that Game 7 last year.
He did.
Like
He
I
scored
think
50
he
points
leveled
to
up.
grab
Like, he
crazy
went to
board.
the next level.
Mm-hmm.
That was his come out party. The only thing I see a lot of people with Nets in the chat. They just feel like they could just never all be together. Like, I mean,
Right.
KD's out for
Exactly.
now. Kyrie's not going to be able to play home games.
Just inconsistent.
There's always something with them. There's always something with them. The wild card is the 76ers of what do they do with Ben Simmons? Do they ride it out or do they actually swing a trade? And then what do they get for him? Because they're playing pretty good without Simmons.
And when's the deadline?
We're a month away, a little under a month away.
Who's the third scorer on the Sixers?
There isn't one.
That's the
Tobias
problem.
Harris sucks this year.
well,
Wait,
they're trying to
Alex,
move
that's
Tobias
his
too,
business.
right?
Yeah, but no one's gonna want that contract. That's
you
the
guys
problem.
saying in as their number 2 scorer, Maxey.
Maxey.
Mhm.
Okay.
Maxey's having a
Maxey's
really good
nice.
season.
He's
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, that's what I would say too, Maxey. I think he's one of those young guys. I mean, I have some nice Maxey Prism Red Ices that I was buying when they were like $8 before the season.
I think he's going to be a nice player long term too.
He was the guy that I remember coming into this season, and everybody was like, "Who are you buying from this year's draft class?" And I was like, "Well, the big names are too expensive because there's so much hype." And I remember buying Tyrese Maxey Red Ices for like $8 a piece raw.
Yeah, the East is wide. There is no
Wide
definitive favorite in the East, in my opinion.
Yep.
If the Bulls are healthy, they're really good. If the Heat are healthy, they're really good. I have concerns about the Nets. The Bucks are obviously really good. The 76ers, if they pull a trade, could be really good. You have the Cavs as the wild card. And then after that, it kind of does fall apart. But that's a solid 6 teams at the top, with the Hornets and the Raptors being semi-frisky. And if the Celtics can get their heads out of their asses, but I don't think they have the talent this year.
Hey! But anyway, but we haven't gotten to the trade deadline yet, right? So, I guess teams that believe that they have a chance will start pushing to make some moves, and that could be the difference maker. We could be looking at a team right now that we think is missing that piece, and then all of a sudden they get that piece. So,
where did Cousins end up at? Where did Cousins go?
He got cut by the Bucks. I don't know if someone else picked him up after that or not. He was
He
on the
was
Bucks
averaging
for like a
17
week.
points a game with the Bucks, right?
Yeah, then he got cut, and I don't think
He hasn't
He might be
signed
a
yet.
missing
but I
piece
could have
or
missed
something.
that.
Yeah.
And then the West to me is a 2-team race. It's the Suns and the Warriors. I don't know that anyone else really matters. I'm sure someone will get frisky. The Grizzlies are really fun.
Suns
Everyone
are
always
tearing it
wants
up.
the Jazz to make it to the Western Conference Finals, but something stupid always happens.
Exactly.
But the Suns are playing great. I guess Booker went for
Nice.
50 tonight, and the Warriors are
He
the
did.
Warriors.
Oh my gosh!
but
He had 48.
I love the Suns. I
Well,
love
he
watching
tells
them play.
maybe that's a sign of how good Booker really is. When somebody tells me Booker went for 40 or Booker went for 50, I don't sit here in shock and awe.
I mean, he had
So-
like
He's a good
75 in a game 2 years ago or whatever crazy number he had.
He's a very
Kind
good
of-
player.
Yeah, I guess that kind of speaks to how good of a player he is when somebody's like, "Oh, Booker scored 50 tonight," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not surprised." So I guess I had to pull up a
But I
Cam
think
Reddish.
Phoenix is going to be what happens with Chris Paul. Does he stay healthy, or does he get hurt, pull a hamstring, do something? Then
Yeah,
if
same thing as
Phoenix-
last year.
that.
They were cruising, and he fell apart, and then the team fell
Yeah.
apart. With
Yep.
Phoenix goes as Chris Paul goes.
I agree.
Yeah, because he was in so much pain during the playoffs last year.
Reddish to the Knicks real quick, because we started talking about this.
Cam Reddish.
We didn't stay on it very long the other night. Does it help the Knicks? Does it help the Hawks? Did the Hawks get rid of some baggage and future contract dispute at the end of this year, and give more minutes to other players that they want to see play? Does it? The Knicks have a lot of wing players, so they're gonna have to. They got some decisions to make.
They're good wing players, though.
The long term conspiracy is that it was just a ploy to get Zion Williamson in New York, and then you got all 3 teammates from that draft playing on the same team with Barrett, Reddish, and Zion. That's just a joke. But
do you think Zion could take the pressure of playing in New York?
I think, okay, first and foremost with Zion, he's just got to get his health together. Last season, as healthy Zion averaged 27 points per game, which is something a lot of people might not realize he averaged that many. But and everybody's talking about Ja's breakout year this year. His team's winning. That's big. He's helping his team win, but he's averaging like 26. We're talking about Zion in his only like pretty much season that he got a full season in. He averaged 27.
But I always ask the question though: who else is scoring for the Pelicans?
Ingram takes a lot of shots. Because when you look at Williamson, he's high percentage too. It's not like he's taking a lot of shots and has a low percentage. It's not like
Yeah, but you remember when Kevin Love was with the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? He averaged like 27 points a game.
Yeah, so does Karl Anthony Towns.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Anthony Edwards who's averaging up there too, and D'Angelo Russell's having big nights. I think in today's NBA, you can have multiple high scorers on the team because the defense is in this.
Yeah, but I just think if you score for a team that doesn't make the playoffs,
right,
it's like a tree that fell in the forest, right? Doesn't mean anything.
Not if you're Zion Williamson. I think some players exceed because he's always got eyes on him. Pelican games get televised in my area for no reason other than the fact that Zion was playing. I live in Delaware. There's no reason why the New Orleans Pelicans and Chicago Bulls should be coming on my television, other than the fact that they want to highlight Zion. Now,
yeah, I just don't see Zion taking the pressure of a big market like that. I don't see that.
I just don't think Zion can ever stay healthy. I mean,
Yeah,
I know
that
he's
could
young
be-
and he's got a long way to go. I don't know
His
if I can
big
ever see
thing-
him staying healthy.
biggest question mark is his health. I think he would play well wherever he went. He might play better in some scenarios than others. Wherever he goes, he's going to be the centerpiece of their offense, so he's going to get the points. And plus he shoots high percentage. He doesn't need – so like when I talk about a player like a Colin Sexton who might go out and put up 30 points, he might be like 30% from the field that night, like back when he was with Cleveland. Zion is the kind of guy that'll put up 30 points, but you're also looking at he may have only taken 12 shots and scored a bunch from the free throw line as well because he gets fouled. So he doesn't have to take a lot of shots to be effective because he's got high efficiency. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I'm just talking crazy scenarios and talking. What if he did go there? Because there was the funny rumors when he was talking about it last year. I would love to play in Madison Square Garden. Remember, he was talking about the whole Knicks thing and generating a bunch of hype, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's going to go." And best thing for him to do, he definitely needs to change the scenery. Nothing's going to happen. New Orleans is never going to put the pieces around him that he needs. There's too small market. I mean, Anthony Davis had to get out of there, and he has to get healthy.
Being in LA, I love Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I like Anthony Davis.
Me too.
I'll just put a positive note on the Zion stuff. I'm not near as bearish on Zion as the rest of this panel. I like him, man. He is a gifted athlete, and I think he's going to figure it out. He's 20, he's 19, whatever he is, 21 now maybe. He's still figuring all this out. He had that bad foot that probably has a lot to do with his weight gain. I think he's going to figure that part of his life out. And when I watch him play, my God, he is an amazing player to watch. I enjoy his game so much.
I love him too, and I'm a Tar Heel. But I have so many Zion cards, so I got my fingers crossed he comes back and plays.
I hope he does for you, man. Hope he does.
I just
When he's on the
see him.
court, it's not about his talent's there. It's hot. You can't deny it. It's just I don't know that I could see him stand on the court consistently enough.
Right. Now, my thing is I want to see him play because I just want to see. I'm just curious. It's not like I'm highly invested in him or anything. I don't want to see somebody with that much talent and that much buzz just kind of fade away because he can never get healthy. Now, if he's a victim of his own doing because he just doesn't care about staying healthy because he thinks he's Zion and he has this body type that he can just always be the best athlete on the court regardless of his size, and he doesn't want to put in the work to get himself in shape, then that's a whole nother story. If someone has all that talent and they're willing to waste it away themselves because they're lazy or whatever the reason may be, then so be it, right off into the sunset. But if you're really trying to better yourself, and become a good player, I want to see that, at least see what may be, you know what I mean? And as opposed to what never, what could have been.
Does anyone here think Zion's lazy?
No,
I don't know enough about him. I don't know anything about Zion.
And that's not everything I just said. Wasn't me indicting him and saying that he was.
Oh,
lazy
no. I didn't say you were doing that, but you had brought it
Right.
up, like, if he's late, like that. And I'm like, yeah, who thinks? Does anyone think he's lazy? I don't think he's lazy from what I've seen. I mean, FD of course has the right take. Like, I don't. How can you know? But like, he seems to be a hard worker. From what I see. I mean, you don't get to be in that great a shape at 19 by being lazy. He would have been fat then if he was lazy, I would think.
Oh yeah, and he was in really good shape last year. We saw him out of shape in the bubble when he was winded and couldn't stay on for.
Yep.
And he came in last year with a chip on his shoulder because people saw that. And he came out and said, hey, I want to be the best player on the court. And you could tell he had put in the work and came out, played efficient basketball. He ran point forward.
Yep.
They put him on the ball, and he averaged 27 points a game, probably close to double-digit rebounds. His team was bad. Again, that's the Pelicans. When aren't they bad? So, I would rather.
I remember that picture came out of him last year in the preseason of him like jacked. Like he looked like Bane. He had like the mask on, and like before the previous season started. And I remember it's because card prices went up based solely off that picture alone going around the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Where are his cards at now in the market? Are they? And if they're down, how far are they down?
They're still higher than
Silver
Ja.
Prism finally went underneath Jaws for the first time this week.
Oh wow!
Oh,
Now,
this
I have a
week.
question.
Dang.
I'm going to word this differently. Did the Ja go over the Zion, or did the Zion go under?
Both, because the Zion's still trending down and the Jaw is trending up, so it's a little
So
bit.
Zion is still trending down. So the question of where his market's at, he is still trending down. He hasn't basemented out, because a lot of times, we talk about when players aren't playing, their cards tend to, baseline off.
He has these little teardrops every time bad news comes out. Like he drops a little bit, and then kind of like right now he actually has kind of leveled out a little bit. I think at around $1,400 or $1,500 for his Silver Prism, and it's been relatively flat like the last 30 days. But then these little updates come out about like, oh well, he's really not even rehabbing with the team. He's in Oregon at Nike, and then it's like, oh okay, 10% drop. And then it's like, 2 weeks until the next update. Then the next update comes out, and it's basically 2 more weeks till the next update. And then it's like, oh, 10% drop. Whereas Ja's been the last week basically has really taken off. I saw one of his Silver Prisms just ended tonight for $1,700. There was a bin that got slapped for $1,750 over the weekend. I was questioning what the next sale would be. And another one just sold about 10 minutes ago for $1,710 on Ja.
And is
All right,
Ja
guys.
on the All-Star team? Is he on the All-Star team right now?
They haven't announced them yet, but yeah, Ja will be on the All-Star team 100%.
Yeah, he'll be on.
When does those announcements?
Pretty quick as the votings right now. They've been doing the weekly updates for like who's leading. So I don't know when they actually do the announcements, but it should be pretty quick here. I'm curious to see if the Cavs get one or two guys on.
Zion just sold for, I think, $2,200 is what it looks like. But
Really?
yeah,
Ooh.
I see auctions at $1,700 and $1,800. I mean, over the last week and a half, there's only been 3 sales. One's $2,200, one's $1,700, one $1,800.
So there
a lot
are
of people
still there are people believing that he's going. If
Well,
cards
you
are still
saw
selling at that point, that mark, yeah.
Well, you saw the Jeff Wilson trade, right? Where he put a video out where he traded for a big Zion
Right.
card, and he traded away like some really legit cards for a big Zion card.
So let me just ask you this, because you brought that up. So I'm sitting at home and I'm watching this. Would any of us make that deal?
It was I'm trying to remember what he gave up. Was it a LeBron black refractor or something in there? Okay, because I watched it so long ago. I'm trying to remember what he gave up.
They gave up a low pop LeBron and 2 other players that were pretty low pop as well.
In the long-term play, no, I don't make that. Maybe if you're thinking, okay, this is the only way I can wrap my head around that. You're thinking, okay, Zion's down. You have some people looking to get to unload. I have confidence in him, or at least the hype around a return, or around 1 or 2 big games after a return when people will be like, oh, well, here he goes, here it is. And then you make a quick move on selling that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that looking for a window to capitalize while he's down and hoping that there's some hype that brings him back up, as opposed to a LeBron card that at this point is because what can LeBron do to increase the value of his cards other than over time? His cards will increase in value over time, and they're safe. So I'm thinking it was more of this is a short-term play, and maybe it works out for him, and then he looks to get back into some longer-term cards like LeBron's. I don't know. That's the only way I could actually wrap my head around it. Or he just, he's got a lot more money than me. Maybe that gamble doesn't matter to him. If he takes a loss on that, oh well, I'm Jeff Wilson, and it's not going to hurt me too bad.
I kind of liked at the end, he talked about like his mentality behind it. And I kind of liked it because he got LeBron back, right? And that LeBron was like 60% of the value of the trade. So he's like, there's still, or whatever. I'm making numbers up here, but he's like, this much is still pretty much stable. Same with the card I gave up. Right. Did he give up a LeBron or he give up a Zion?
No, he purchased a Zion, gave up a LeBron.
Right. Yeah. But he got 3 cards in return, right? He got a few in return, and then like because he talked about like part of what he got back was stable, and then part of it with the Zion stuff was a lot more up and down, I guess. So I don't know. I liked his mentality. Would I make it? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, that's so out of my league. But I like the way he broke it down. Like he gave us his thoughts.
So CeeLo or Chloe or whatever is asking what we think about football. It's playoff season. He also says the Cowboys blew it big time. We actually talked about football for like the first at least 30 minutes. Even more of all that we talked about all the playoff games, what we thought going forward. We talked about the Cowboys blowing it. I think that's how we kicked off the live stream. So there is some football talk in here. You might have to go back and watch the beginning of the live stream when we're finished, man. That's all right. It's all right. We all miss something every now and then.
Oh yeah, the Steph Curry is a part of that deal. Yeah.
Oh, so he traded us. He
said LeBron, a Steph, and something else, I think, for a Zion.
See if I can find the video.
Yeah, that makes it harder because, like I said about LeBron, what else can he do for his cards to really move in the short term? But Curry, there's lots he can do in the short term to still make his stuff. He's a short term and long term play right now.
He had to have some rationale. When I was looking at it, I was like,
Let's see. Yeah. Well, we're an hour and 56 minutes in, guys. So we're approaching that 2-hour mark.
And I have to jump off right now.
Yeah, and go ahead. FD's got to go, but tell him you're going to be live streaming, correct?
Yes, I'm jumping on live right now.
Make sure
Steve, Neo,
tell everybody where they can find you.
Dakota, I really appreciate y'all for being on here. It's good to have dialogue with you. The channel is called Rolling with FD. We talk about sports, sports collectibles, and a whole bunch of other stuff, pop culture. Please come check out the different episodes that are out there. And if you have time after this, jump on that live.
Oh, they got time. We're going to end ours so that everybody can head on right over to FD's.
I appreciate that.
Check it out. Awesome. And we'll be in the chat hanging out too. So
just so y'all know about me, I love dialogue, right? I love talking different ideas.
Yes, you
do. Even when I ask a question, I'm like, really? I love to hear what someone else is thinking. Mm-hmm. Just how I'm wired. It's like a scrub. I just love that.
All right, FD, thanks for coming on. You guys go check out his live stream. He's about to
see you soon, FD.
Bye-bye.
All right. Later. So yeah, we're going to wrap, guys. Anybody? We're not wrap, guys. We're not going to wrap like that. We're going to end it.
I'm down.
You're not gonna end the stream and just leave us sitting here to run the channel for
hit the leave studio like I fell out of my chair. So any last comments you guys want to get in really quickly? Because FD is going to fire up, and I've been on for 2 hours, and I actually am going to go over there and check his live stream out while I catch up on things around the house.
No Dakota had kept bringing up, and there was a whole thing about the incident at the Dallas Sports Card Show. That tomorrow night on Between Two Slabs with the great curator and I, we'll delve more into that because we both, Dan and I both had firsthand experiences with it from different perspectives. It was pretty much like a Kurosawa, storyline. I mean, he had a firsthand, and then you saw the video that I posted on my Instagram, and I'm getting all kinds of crazy stories. Card Porn had a post, and then he removed it, and then Card Porn just messaged me while we were on here, and I was trying to read it, trying to tell me what happened, and I'm getting all kinds of messages about it. So I'm going to try to research and read all through all these messages, and then kind of give y'all a more detailed story of what really happened, because I'm getting all kinds of Kurosawa stories. So we'll find out. And then Steve, you're going to be a huge hit, dude, in Atlanta, and I think your followers are going to double after you do a show. Because you've got some great stuff, and people are going to eat you up, dude. They're going to love it.
Oh man! So Man, look, last night, like I said, I missed the end of that, or actually most of that Chiefs Steelers games. I come home because I was dead tired, but I told myself, I was like, look, you got to get these cards to PSA because I want them
Yes.
back before Atlanta. So I actually set my alarm to wake up in the middle of the night to get up to put together a PSA order.
Okay.
So I put together the PSA order. I go over some PMGs. There's like 4 high-end cards in here. It's all ready to go. Got my scan on the bottom.
You forget the post office was closed today?
I'm driving to work this morning. I leave 15 minutes early. I actually go to the post office door and go to open it. And it's like, jong, jong. And I'm like, what? And then I'm like, it's today Sunday? I'm like, man, it's Sunday, man. I can't believe it's Sunday. And then I'm like, oh, no, it's a holiday. I completely forgot.
And it's Martin Luther King Day. There's no mail today. But FedEx is working because I got an SGC email that my cards were shipped today. And Steve, I think that Dan and I, Great Curator, and I are going to be at Atlanta, so we'll have to hang out then, okay? And maybe we can do a live stream all together there too. Not just here, but then. Well,
are you guys going? Are you guys going to set up? Or are you guys just going to go?
No, I think we're going to definitely set up if we're going to go. Yeah.
If you're going to attend the show,
what's the date to be exact?
24th to the 28th. Does that sound right?
February. Yeah.
I think it's the last weekend in February.
24th is a Thursday. That's dealer setup night. Friday is actually like a preview night, and then Saturday and Sunday will be the bigger, long, all day long type.
Yeah. And if it's anything like Dallas, man, I set up on Sunday and it went from like 100 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour on Sunday. I meant nothing. I shouldn't even set up. I should have just walked around and tried to make some deals. But lesson learned. That was my first time.
Yeah, and actually, Michael Ham and I actually are rooming at the,
you are?
At the Sheraton, right across the street from.
Oh, it'd be cool to meet him.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we have 3 tables that. Well, I got 3 tables there, and I'm sharing with Kenny, Roth, and myself will be kind of like all tables attached. I booked the tables for us, as like the planner, I guess. And,
you're the event planner. You're the you're Joey, the cruise director.
Getting tables, and I got 2, and then Kenny messaged me and asked me if I could get a 3rd because he thought Josh was going to set up as well. So we got a 3rd, and I don't know what to expect. We'll see. Hope it'll be fun,
great, man. You'll do fine. You'll be great. You're going to be.
I loaded up on these Marvel cards. I bought this collection, and I'm like, man, do I want to sell it now, or do I want to wait to have it for inventory at the show? Because
that is the question.
I would have no problem moving it because, like I said, my Instagram has gone nuts with people being like, oh, we saw you post that on Instagram. Is it for sale?
Yeah.
Like crazy. Even there's a high-end collector named 26 Collectibles, I believe, on IG that actually messaged me about PMGs.
Oh, well, Steve, I was also going to ask you if you know of any Marvel content on YouTube that I can watch because I'm desperately looking for some Marvel content. Or, Neo, if you know any, please message me and send me the links.
Right?
Yeah, Spidey Drew 09.
Of course, yeah.
Sketch card.
I follow him, yes. We hung out this weekend. Yeah, we know each other.
Gingy Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GG Man on IG and Sketch Card Hive on YouTube.
Sketch Card Hive, that's the one I need.
The MCCW podcast is really good.
MCCW podcast? Okay.
Marvel Card Collectors World or something. They have a really good Facebook group too.
Okay. Here in the chat near Atlanta, and I think we'll get to meet for the first time at the Atlanta show.
Yeah, Justin's a cool guy.
I mean, we met on Saturday. He came, drove 4 hours from Louisiana to Dallas, and then we went and had dinner with him, and then he drove back to Louisiana that night. So he had
I talk to Justin all the time.
Yeah, great guy, man. What just a genuine guy, man. It was great to have some time with him. Very engaging, very knowledgeable. It was a pleasure.
Real quick, regarding you mentioned the Dallas drama, Ryan from Breakout Cards did a video on it right before we went live, and I watched it.
Oh yeah,
and it has like the most up-to-date information. He talked to like various PSA reps, and he does a whole breakdown. He got pictures of the slabs that were in question, and the cards that were in question. Essentially, to boil it down, it was fake cards in fake PSA slabs, and fake Jordans with fake that I forget the name of the company, the guy that puts the black stickers on the card savers.
Oh yeah. The one who was
stickers
like,
were
it's
fake.
even a better pristine card to prove that's even better than pristine.
Yeah, those were fake too. Is basically his rundown. But I would recommend checking out Breakout Cards videos.
So that is
fake
the
shit.
truth of it. Okay, that's what I originally had posted, and then there was so much stuff going on.
Yeah,
on my,
Cardboard put
comments.
something out earlier today that made it sound like, oh, the cards were actually real, not fake. And then and someone did an interview, and then it ended up coming out that no, they were fake. And I guess that they've sold this stuff at 3 different shows, according to Ryan from Breakout. But yeah, he had a really good update video. I was watching it right before we hopped on because I figured we'd get questions about it.
Great, thanks for that update, man.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Neo, what do you have coming out tomorrow or coming up? Anybody to look forward to?
I have a mail day video tomorrow, and then I have a football video on Wednesday about guys that their value got absolutely hammered throughout the course of the football season.
Okay.
And then I have a comic book investing 101 video coming out later this week. I'm not sure the day yet. I keep moving it around.
Dakota, what do you have on the
tomorrow's video? Neo actually makes a guest appearance. We're going to do Card Ladder versus Market Movers. And then I think Wednesday, I'm going to do a tax video. I'm scared to talk about it because I don't want it to be advice. I'm not a CPA, but we'll talk about how I do it. And end of the week, I'll talk about how to build a Brady collection for under 200 doll hairs.
And Merle, do you have any videos coming up?
Yeah, I'll have some stuff posted coming this week. I might have an opening of some AEW Upper Deck box this week coming up about.
Popular one.
Yeah, we'll see how this. I could not find any in Dallas at all. None of that. Some guy had it really jacked, except one dealer had it jacked up to like $350. So I didn't even bother. But I mean, I paid like $200 for 2 boxes. So I think I'm going to keep one and maybe open one and either do that live stream or something. And then, tomorrow night, Great Curator night between 2 slabs at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
And I have thoughts for 2 videos. One is either going to be cracking slabs and how to do it, which I've been talking about,
or how not to do it, depending on how it goes. Huh?
Yeah, I would like to know.
Well, I'm using
to do
pliers,
it properly.
I'm using the pliers and the Dremel, so
okay,
you get 2 different ways. And I thought about doing a video on PSA inconsistencies, but that's because people.
Yes, they have been.
But if I do that, people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just magging your grade." But that's
SGC fanboy, Steve.
I have the same card and also very similar cards and I submitted them at the same time. So it's kind of like the other one's graded well, and one of them graded well below. Even if it was a number grade lower than the others, fine. But for some, I can't determine why this one card got the grade that it got. And considering that I have an exact one of that card already graded, and I also have another one that I submitted with this one at the same time, evaluated them both the same, and one came back with a high grade and one came back with a low grade. And I'm just like, this is very inconsistent. If I do a video on that, people are just going to be like, oh, your Max, your card got a bad grade.
Right?
It doesn't matter because I'm just going to snap it and get a better grade and prove that inconsistencies exist.
Maybe, you don't know. Maybe you missed something.
Nah, I don't do that. Perfect.
Maybe you missed the corner that you're going to destroy when you crack it out.
Look again, yeah. Let me know what pliers you use, please. Leave a link in your description.
Oh, you can just use regular. You can use a regular adjustable wrench. You don't even need pliers as long as you get the.
I tried that.
Down and
Epic fail.
Oh no! All right.
The piece of plastic of the PSA went straight into a patch of a Lamar Jackson rookie, or that was a 1 of 1.
Well, you can get the kind of pliers that are like tile cutters.
Yeah.
And you can actually just snip the case, or you can get a pair of pliers and you can hold the case flat and then snap your wrist and break the corner edge off. Or you can just take a Dremel and just go straight down through it, nice and smooth.
Maybe I'll do that then. I do have an electric drill.
But that's what I'm thinking about doing. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining me tonight.
It was a pleasure.
Neo, and Merle for the first time. Dakota, Neo, no strangers to. It's kind of
guys, a pleasure meeting you all tonight and talking finally.
Nice to meet you as well, sir.
Have a good night, guys.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Take it easy, chat. We'll see you guys probably sooner than later. All right, take it easy.